Okay, Israel. Once again, Tawada for everybody for tuning in, checking us out. Shout out Cabo Cobb and his congregation in Guatemala. I hope your brothers and sisters are doing well and keeping up the good fight. Shout out SOW Virginia, Rochester, and Houston. Hope your brothers are staying strong as always. Sisters fighting and fighting to stay in order. We appreciate and respect and love all of y'all out there. We are going to go back in class again. Listen, the topic of the class is how long can we suffer and still maintain our integrity? That's the title of the class. How long can we suffer and still maintain our integrity? And just, integrity is just dealing with that pure perspective, that pure, blameless way of living.
And the same quality of production. Mm-hmm. The same quality of ethic of work.
Yep.
And the same temperament towards the people around you.
So, yeah, but what we're going to go into this, what we're going to first go into is to take our time and to paint how it feels when you're in the midst of the battle. When you're beat up, when you're tired, when you're exhausted, when you have nothing to bring to the table, but there's still more of a demand. Whether you're a brother in the work with these grueling hours we're tapping into, or you're a sister that's trying to serve their husband and maintain their order despite what you guys are going through in your life. Every single one of us can attest to this chapter we're about to read in Job chapter 7. And now we know that there's varying degrees of intensity that each and every one of us battle. But let's start off here with Job chapter 7, verse 1, and we're going to read it down, okay?
God. Job chapter 7, verse 1.
So once again, this is what the Most High, when it talks about the Lord is judging our heart and is judging our pretty much our reason every day, he's looking at how we suffer and do we sustain strength in the midst of our suffering. So, let's do it again. Job chapter 7, verse 1.
God. Job chapter 7, verse 1.
Let me text this. Okay, let's do it.
Job chapter 7, verse 1. Is there not an appointed time to man upon the earth?
So it says, is there not an appointed time to man upon the earth? Okay, well, you're going to read the tone of this, and he's going to be like, damn, is there an appointed time for, me to sit back here and keep busting my tail, and there be something good at the end for me? This is what Job is expressing in this chapter. As we know, Job sat back here and lost his family, lost his wealth, lost pretty much everything of substance besides his wife, who tried to convince him to kill himself. Yeah. Which is, or to curse the Most High, so the Most High would kill himself. So in the midst of his suffering, he's venting to 3 of his trusted confidants. And he's like, listen, man, is there not an appointed time to man upon the earth? Read on.
Are not his days also like the days of a hireling?
And listen, when you're in the midst of your battle, do we not ask the same question?
Yeah.
We feel like we're just sitting back here working like slaves, man.
Slaves.
We just feel like life is slavery,
Egyptian slaves.
Slavery is life. We're sitting back here making brick with no mortar. Every day we're making brick with no mortar. Bodies on fire. What's that? It was straw and mortar, wasn't it? I think it was both.
Slime and straw. Yeah.
He said no straw and mortar. So how the hell are you going to sit back here and make it? Pretty much, damn, it's all life is just sitting back here working and slaving and working and slaving and working and slaving and working and working and working and slaving and slaving and slaving. That's how it feels when you're in the middle of your battle. That's how you know you're in a what? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you know you're in a battle. When you're getting into this work vortex.
Yeah.
It's just grind and work and be in pain.
It's spitting grit.
And you sit back here, you're grinding all day long, and as soon as you get home, you feel like this. It's how you get up.
Back at it.
And you're back at it again.
And for certain people,
no, do that.
It just
they don't.
That was the Satan that did
right.
that.
It'll be all right.
Yeah,
we don't want to go to sleep. Because you go to sleep, that like that.
I just said it the other day. That just came out of my mouth.
So it's almost like you might enjoy the time you're up and do something to stimulate your mind. Because
Wake up, it's back on again.
and then it's almost a feeling of despair. Now Diablo wants to mess up the screen.
Might want to switch.
I'm gonna do it. Forget it. But I don't think this is gonna do it. I think it's gonna still be.
Sometimes it works.
I'm gonna do it like it's a Nintendo cartridge.
You gotta rub on your arm.
No, Nintendo, you blow into it, and all of a sudden it mysteriously works again. Yes.
Really, you gotta blow the machine. You gotta blow into that.
Well, I'm just y'all didn't see it online. I blew it like it was like a Nintendo game, and then after you blow it, you got to put a second Nintendo game on top of it to force it down. Then the party continues.
That's true.
Anyway, for those who know, they know.
Do know that. Yeah.
Hold this point. What are we doing, man? That's PlayStation. That's not Nintendo. That's not the original Nintendo. That's a generation or two later. That's not Nintendo sound. Oh my gosh! I was like, what's this guy playing? See, it was a Sony website.
Yeah,
it wasn't Nintendo. It wasn't NES.
It wasn't NES. I don't remember that sound. I didn't have a Nintendo.
That's my point. You didn't know Tecmo Bowl then. You didn't know the good stuff,
They just say it.
brother. Listen, anyway, you know what's up. For those who know, they know, man. As long as y'all don't tell me about like the joysticks that you had with Atari on.
That was
old school.
That was fun.
Playing Galaga?
Yeah.
And like the table tennis?
Yeah.
Come on now. You going like
Yep. The Atari games.
Oh man. So anyway, we took it back for a second. Okay. Go to Ecclesiasticus in the Bible, in the Apocrypha. So Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha chapters. Matter of fact, I'm going a little fast. Start Job 7, verse 1. We're going to go to verse 2. Then we're going to sit back here and go into Ecclesiasticus chapter 7.
Come.
So all this NES stuff messed me up, man, and messed my timing up in class, man.
What verse is 7?
1 and 2.
We're going to go back to Job chapter 7, verse 1 and 2. Read that.
Job chapter 7, verse 1. Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth?
Mm-hmm.
Are not his days also like the days of a hireling?
And this is when you're in the battle serving the Most High. When you know you're fighting, you're not very rested. When you know you're in the spirit and you know you're in a lesson that the Most High's got for you, you feel like a hireling. You feel like all you got to do is work in the morning, work at night, no breaks across the board, and it feels like it's an indefinite period of time with no hope in sight, no end in sight.
Yeah.
This is why Job was like, is there an appointed time for us on earth? Is there a time where this stops? How long are we going to be in this perpetual suffering and grinding process? Let's continue.
Verse 2. As a servant earnestly desireth the shadow.
Listen, he says, a servant earnestly desires a shadow.
Yes.
What the hell does that mean?
I want to break.
Listen,
I want to break.
Earnestly desiring the shadow is getting away from everything, getting a nap and getting some you time.
Yes. He says, just like a servant wants a break.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because everywhere around him is grind, a demand, and a need. Read on.
And as a hireling looketh for the reward of his work.
And you know, this is the battle that we face. Even though we sit back here and we understand it's not about the reward, we understand it's not about getting something on the back end. In the back of your mind, you're like, man, can I get a little breather? Is there any place in the foreseeable future where I can find some rest and solace in what I'm going through? Whether I'm the servant or whether I'm the hireling who's working for a particular goal or a particular job or a particular pay. Once again, this Job is setting the tone for how it feels every day when you're working for the Lord. You're working to sit back here and get acknowledged and seen, and you're looking for a blessing. You're acting like you're not looking for it, but you're doing this. There was a faint, cool breeze. Is that the blessing? Yeah, that's what it is. You telling me it ain't?
Yeah.
I know that's what it is. So this is the battle and struggle we all face. Now we understand when Job starts to go deeper into his topic, it gets way more intense. Hold this and go to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 7 and 20.
John 7 and 20. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 20 reads, right?
Yep.
Whereas thy servant worketh truly, entreat him not evil, nor the hireling that bestoweth himself wholly for thee.
All I'm trying to explain is to explain that hireling in this regard is not that hireling that Christ talks about in St. John 10, where he says, listen, the hireling is the one that's going to get the blessing. Mm-hmm. This hireling in this Job chapter 7 is talking about that person who gives himself wholly to his master. And when we're in the middle of our battles, we know we're committing everything we got. We've taken pay hikes, pay cuts, where we're working crazy slave hours with slave wages to match. It feels like that sometimes. It feels like that. So I'm trying to paint the picture of what we're going through and the consciousness that we're going through in the midst of our battle, while still expecting a blessing or good to come in the horizon. Okay? Read on.
Come, verse 21.
No, let that go in Job. Let's go. I'm sorry. Let that go in Ecclesiasticus. Let's go back to Job chapter 7 and verse 2 again.
Come, Job chapter 7 verse 2. As a servant earnestly desireth the shadow, and as a hireling looketh for the reward of his work, so am I made to possess months of vanity.
So this he's letting you know how long the Most High makes you stretch out before you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, months of repetition.
Because he says everything. I'm busting my tail for months, and I don't see anything coming out of this busting my tail for months. It's like Groundhog Day. I'm working and I'm suffering and I'm grinding every day, and the next day it's the same damn day. And the day after that, it's the same damn day.
What you have to look
These
forward
refrigerators are not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a refrigerator today, and guess what's going to be happening tomorrow? Here's another damn refrigerator.
Going upstairs.
And that's the, listen. And then, you know what? Those 2-man straps ain't going nowhere.
How about the 2-man strap is gone?
Oh,
The
no.
2-man strap is gone.
Yeah.
They're gone, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That needs to get purchased ASAP.
Brothers lost.
That needs to get purchased.
Maybe the brothers lost it because they didn't want it no more. They didn't like what it represented. Maybe they didn't like what the 2-man strap represented.
I can skip the stop.
Kinda. So we'll get some more 2-man straps. There's no trucking tomorrow, so 2-man straps will be purchased.
Hilarious.
But what is Job saying? He is saying, listen, I am made to possess months of vanity, working like a hireling, working wholly to this work, giving our dedicated spirit every day to the right goal and the right direction for months, and it feels like nothing is coming back on my behalf in my favor. If this isn't this Israel spiritual battle, I do not know what is. This is what Job is saying. Things are written aforetime or what?
Written for our
learning. So let's continue.
Come, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me.
So now he's explaining not only are the days leading up to nothing, he says the nights are wearisome too. Because when the Most High is truly putting his finger on you, you're going to start seeing in what Job has experienced is very similar to what we're experiencing. There's no comfort. There's no break. There's no escape. And when you feel that pressure leaning on you, whereas normally you sit back here in the daytime, okay, I got to lock it in from whatever time to whatever time, but then later on I can take a break and recover. When you're going through your battle, when the Most High is working on your spirit, you don't get a break at night either. You don't get peace of mind at night either, because there is a lesson to be had. So when we're experiencing this, just in the back of your mind, be conscious of, hey, this is what Job experienced as well. Okay? Let's continue.
Verse 4. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise?
Well, listen, hold on. He already said I'm working months for vanity. So the process of being that servant that wants that shadow, that's in the what time? That's the daytime. I'm constantly looking for a break in the daytime, and there's no break. Mm-hmm. But then when you get home, he's saying, what? When I lie down, you're like, man, when shall I arise? I'd rather sit back here and be back slaving on wrestling with damn refrigerators than dealing with the problems I got at home. Is that not a snapshot of what we go through in the truth? When the Most High is testing us and he's putting us through the fire, the places that we call home isn't going to be home for a period of time. And I'm not going to lie, for years, I used to look at this concept and say, this isn't fair. Why is my home as stressful in this period of time? This is supposed to be where I am supposed to have my comfort.
Yeah. Camp stress, home stress.
But the problem is this. For many years, I had the wrong perspective. Now, does the wife and family at home supposed to support you in your battle? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
But what we're not in tune to spiritually is sometimes, a lot of times, the Most High has your home turned upside down and your life turned upside down to get you to see you. Yeah.
And if I can add on to that, it's, a lot of times when we're in the middle of the battle, we're looking for an escape at home.
Yep.
And when we get home, we hope that the wife and the kids
is locked in.
And they can be our escape.
Yep.
They can be our momentary, relaxation.
Or they can handle the business so I can take a break.
But
it's either or.
That's the point. I want to go home and relax, my feet up, take an Epsom salt bath.
Veg out
for 45 minutes.
You don't put cucumbers on your face, huh? Get the cold cucumbers and slice them.
Plug in the earmuffs.
Put them on the eyes.
And disappear.
I don't think anybody's doing a cucumber trip.
No.
But that cucumber is the image of comfort and relaxation.
It is.
Okay. Continue.
But, you realize you get home and you got more work to do. And the work, you can't, it's almost like, I remember you told me a long time ago. You said, if I take my shoes off, nothing is getting done.
Nothing is getting done. Then all of a sudden, I put a dingy T-shirt on that's V-neck like Al Bundy did. I'm gonna just be like this watching TV.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm out of there. I'm out of there.
That's hilarious.
It's the truth. But what is the Most High showing us? He's saying there's times when he's going to wrestle up and ruffle up inconvenience and stress everywhere you go. What that means at the house is the wife's going to be needy. The children are going to be needy. Yeah. There's going to be dysfunction that needs your 100% attention to put back in order. Because what we want for the most part is a mental break. So we can relax up top. But then when the Most High is dipping you and putting you through adversity, there's no break. There's no mental break anyway.
No.
Now, a lot of Israelites, they'd rather sit back here and be a beast of burden than use their brains.
Yeah.
Rather sit back here and lift boxes and do everything physical, but to think and to problem solve and to counsel.
That's work.
No, I don't want to do that. I would rather sleep or go lift boxes and refrigerators than think. So what the Most High is saying is, hell, you're burning out in the nighttime, in the daytime, and then when you get home, the first thing in your mind is, can I get back to work and not deal with this crap?
Yeah.
Because this is the thoughts that Job is going through. There's no escaping the stress and the pain and the battle that you're enduring. Read on.
Verse 4. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise and the night be gone? And I am full of tossings and to and fro unto the dawning of the day.
Have you not sat back here and just had not good rest?
All the time.
And you have a restless night?
Cortisone levels through the roof.
And you're sitting back here, you're stressed, and you can't like tone down.
Yep.
And your mental anxiety just constantly goes, and one day just transfers into another, and it's just stress after stress after stress, and you just get numb to it, and you're just a zombie after a while. You're a zombie rolling through life, and you need a recharge. And you don't know how to get the recharge because in your mind you can't get past the fact that there's no break. There's no break. There's no comfort. It's everywhere I look and see it's work. Yes.
How about you at the house trying to get back in the book to recharge? But guess what?
There's babies.
Your family needs you. Right?
I know.
I'm like, bro, I'm an hour. I'm like 30-something minutes in. I'm trying to get to an hour. Can you please handle this scenario so I can get my relationship with the Most High?
Who needs to get wiped though?
But you know what's crazy? What that is? What that means is, while you're working, you better be reading while you're working.
I'm driving.
No. Listen, you better be listening while you're working. Because if you're not listening while you're working, you ain't no time to do it at home. You're too tired.
I want to read the Bible now.
So you're saying cut off Pantera? If you listen to music, and then Slayer. If you listen to music, you listen to Bible. I need my time. I can't even do it like that. I don't know if y'all. For those who understand the speed metal spirit, they're like, I don't know how to do it. I've seen cats do it. I'm like, I'm slow as hell. I can't go that fast.
I can't do it anymore. I used to do it with a finger.
Or you better study before you hit home.
Well, that's all fine and dandy, but the spirit is telling you,
You gotta go home.
you're extended out and you're burnt out, and there's no getaway.
Yeah.
And
Some of the brothers don't get that single life out. That single life. Well, everybody don't get that. Huh? So it's like there's work and responsibility everywhere. I'm riding. Come on now.
I gotta study.
Yeah, listen. So let's continue back in Job 7 and 4 again from the top.
Job chapter 7 verse 4. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise and the night be gone?
You're like, man, I want this night to be over with because all I got is counsel at the house. At least I'm on the truck. It's just work, and I can zone out in my work.
Zone out.
Kinda.
Or arguing with the brothers. Man.
I'd rather argue with the brothers than argue with the dragon at the house. Not knocking to anybody, because that's a Bible scripture, y'all. There is a Bible scripture. That's the Bible. This is not a war's public opinion. It says, what does the scripture say? I'd rather live in the house, the rooftop, or I'd rather wrestle with a dragon than a brawling woman in the house. That's the Bible. This is not a war just being mean here, okay?
Look, the war is different.
I got it.
The war.
I'm not. I hope people just take you or just type dragon into your concordance. You'll figure it out.
25,
Well, it's lions too.
It's two verses.
Lions, animals, lions, dragons. Oh my, bears. Oh my. So let's continue, man.
Verse 5. My flesh is clothed with worms and clouds of dust.
And what this is saying is, when you're in your battle, it feels like your body is deteriorating.
Yeah.
This is not talking about worms coming out your skin. This is talking about the deterioration that comes from serving the Lord.
That's real.
When you're sitting back here, you're grinding, you're working. Listen, swollen knees, joints on fire, back problems, feet
The
issues.
dying of the flesh and loss of vitality.
And that's the truth. He's telling you in the process of serving the Most High, there is a deterioration in the flesh that comes, and a lot of times that spooks Israel out. My body's breaking down. Everybody that's fighting to preserve themselves, that's not the spirit. That's not the spirit. I'm not saying be reckless with your body, but in the process of serving the Most High, there is a deterioration that comes, and there has to be an acceptance of it. But as Job is sitting back here, body's breaking down, he's obviously dealing with sleep deprivation because he's not getting any rest at home. At night, he's not getting any rest in his work, in his pursuits. His body is breaking down. If this is not the Israelite experience, I don't know what is. Let's continue.
My skin is broken and become loathsome.
Listen, my body's breaking down. I got bags under my eyes. I'm not as spry as I used to be. I'm sleep depraved. A lot of physical toil that is on the body. Let's continue.
My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle.
Listen, I don't know if when it says my days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle. A weaver's shuttle is this like machine that's used to make linens and cloths and stuff like that. And the lady or the guy who does the weaving slides this little little rocket thing with it's not a rocket thing, but it has like 2 pointed edges on one on each side, and it slides from one side to the other, and it has string in there, so it gives a different type of color on the cloth material, and it slides fast.
Yep.
It's like boom, boom. So it says, my days are swifter than a weaver shuttle. You look up, you lost a month like this.
So run into each other.
You lost every day is the same day. You go work on Monday, you look up, it's damn Sunday again. Like, what the hell just happened? I'm grinding. Yep. The days are fast, but they're exhausting. And I'm just going through work. It's hard. It's difficult. I'm in pains. The flesh is getting touched. Once again, all these explanations touch on what we go through when we're in the peak battle. When we're in the peak of getting pulled and challenged and having to fight our battles.
The flesh is pulling, life is pulling, and you got to maintain your concentration on the things that matter. But you're being pulled into your flesh, and you're being pulled into people's problems, and you're being pulled into your own sadness too. But you got to maintain that laser beam focus on what matters, or everything falls apart.
And this is what he's dealing with. He says, my days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle. Read on.
And are spent without hope.
And this is the challenge. This is the scary thing. When you're suffering and you're going through pains, then you start to lose hope. Hope that it's going to get better. The idea or the remembrance that the suffering is only for a season. Because you can say that all the damn day long. But when you're in the middle of the battle, sometimes it's easy to forget that the suffering is temporary.
There's a forgiveness.
Yep.
There's a forgiveness of good, of affliction. Or there's a forgiveness of pleasure too.
Yeah.
A prosperity.
Of prosperity. There's a forgiveness that, hey, this isn't how it is all the time. But when you're sleep deprived, you're mentally burnt out, you're tired, you're aggravated, and you're trying to get through it, it's hard to maintain perspective. And then hope is challenged. The idea that everything's going to be okay starts to be a little more dimmer in your perspective.
It's burnout mode.
So now we're going to take that verse, we're going to hold that and jump to Psalms chapter 31, verse 9 and 10, and then 12.
Psalms chapter 31, verse 9.
Let me get there real quick. Do a little typo. Okay, read that, sir.
Psalm chapter 31, verse 9. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh, for I am in trouble. Mine eye is consumed with grief.
And he says, my eye, everything I see is grief around me. Everything I see around me is stress, pressure, the threat of loss, the idea that what I've been building might not sustain itself.
Or everywhere you look, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I pursue my wife, it's a problem. I deal with my brother, it's a problem. I'm getting these phone calls, they want their money, it's a problem.
Yep. Yes.
Listen,
They always want their money.
They want their money.
Listen, I'm so glad that these new phones give specifics about what company's calling out.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier to just ignore this phone call.
Decline.
Because what they used to do is they started using the 210 area code, so it's not the 1-800.
Who's that?
So the 1-800 is like, I'm never answering this 1-8, whatever the hell number is.
1-7-0-0-3.
You start seeing 210, and it says probably a bad call. Thank you,
Scammer.
computer man on the phone.
Yeah.
I went out and answer this phone then. And they never leave a message. That's how you know they're full of crap. Anyway.
Well, if they're from India, they try to call you by your first name.
Hello.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
It's like nobody calls me Michael.
Yeah.
But everywhere you go, in every arena of your life, there's an issue that you don't really have the ability to solve at the moment.
God.
I can't solve this right now. This phone is not answering. This bill ain't getting paid. This relationship not getting fixed in 1 week.
Yeah.
The boy you're dealing with does not understand the counsel. I'm trying to give you this is the answer.
And the problem is
Not the answer.
and you're trying to give them the answer, in hopes that the day will go easier.
No, I'm still angry.
But,
I said, listen,
but the day does not go easier.
it's cool. The brother didn't mean it. I'm still mad. I said, okay, brother, this day's over. Right? Let's just go to work and argue all
But
day.
the day can't be over because you got 5 more hours.
But you have to carry the day.
With pouting energy.
You got to carry the day because the spirit next to you doesn't have the capacity to stay positive. So now you have a double negative day because you're negative too.
And then the person that's angry is careless at the job.
There you go.
So if the carelessness goes bad, who has to sit back here and deal?
Now the customer like this.
It's the customer that goes to who?
I'm not satisfied. You're trying to explain to him it's not really on me. I'm trying. I'm still not satisfied. What are you gonna do to make it right? I can't do these things you want me to make. I can't do what you want me to do. I can't do this. It's beyond my capacity. So what I'm trying to say is there's needs that are beyond your current capacity. And all the people pleasing in the world and the servicing in the world, even if you gave everything you have to this person, they're not going to be happy.
You still got 45 minutes in the car with them per stop.
Exactly.
Attitudes and anger
Yep.
and dissatisfaction.
Exactly.
And you gotta make that shit shake.
Yeah.
You better keep it in the spirit. You better do something to keep it about this Bible.
Yeah. So the people that you're ride with are mad at you. The brothers you deal with are mad at you. You go home, the person you love is mad at you. Everybody's mad at you except for the baby. Yeah. Baby like this. You're my daddy.
But the baby needs that time. But he needs that time. But I need all your time.
Yeah.
Whatever little zap energy you got, I want it.
And but these are actually blessings to have these responsibilities and issues and problems. Really are blessings.
That's why the Most High said He'll give us 100-fold with persecution.
There you go.
Keep going.
They really are blessings because you have the opportunity to maintain a household, to be over a brother and give what he needs for a spirit, and to be an example for the customer, to be an example for the brother about how to deal with the customer, to provide for your school, and to teach people that need you. The blessings that you're needed. If you're not needed, and no one needs your spirit, and no one depends on you, nobody cares about what you want to bring to the table, because it's not substantial, then that's a real problem. Now you're in poverty. Because now people aren't benefiting from your efforts.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the thing you should be scared of.
Well, let's continue. So we're in Psalms 31, verse 9. Let's read it again from the top.
Psalms 31, verse 9. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh, for I am in trouble. Mine eye is consumed with grief. Yea, my soul and my belly.
This is my soul, my eyes, my belly. All I see is stress and pull and distress and loss and need. Read on.
For my life is spent with
He
grief.
gets even more. Like my life is nothing but every day is counsels and problems and solving issues
Band-Aids,
and solving issues and solving issues that seem to never get fixed. And if you look at life this way, it can be very, very discouraging. Okay? Let's go right from the problem. But let's continue.
And my years with sighing. My strength faileth.
So David is going into the fact that his grief went for years.
Not months.
His went for years. He was on the run for years. The majority of his early 20s was spent on the run.
He blew his youth.
He didn't become being a king until he was 30. He was a teen when he killed Goliath. And he didn't become a king until 30. And he didn't become full king, I think, like 33, 34. Some crazy number like that.
You lost your youth.
So almost a 10-year process was on the run. From one stressful situation to another stressful situation to another uncomfortable situation. So for us to sit back and think our situation is difficult, these great men could triple us in spades. But let's continue. Jump to verse 12.
Verse 12. It says, I am forgotten as a dead man.
And that's how it feels. It feels in the midst of your battle that you're forgotten. That nobody really understands. The Most High doesn't understand. The Most High is sitting me and leaving me out here to dry.
Your needs are not important.
And that's what it means by being a dead man. Listen, you going to sit back and really give a shit about what happens to a dead man once he's dead? What can you do? This is what David is saying in the midst of his grief. The feeling and the thought that he's completely abandoned. That what he needs doesn't matter anymore. What you need doesn't matter anymore. Now tie this in with what's being talked about in Job. And these are the thoughts that hit us, especially if we're not able to stay connected spiritually and to be tethered to the Heavenly Father. But even when we are tethered to the Heavenly Father, this pull is real. This demand is real.
The man with no escapes.
The demand with no escape, and that feeling of being abandoned, that feeling of being, you know what, you got to just deal with this. Yep. There's not, listen, because half the time when you're in a real battle, there's no real answer to it.
Yeah.
There's counsel, there's scriptures, but it's more about just, you just got to sit back and do the right thing and suffer through it, and don't react in a carnal way to self-soothe from the pain you're going through. And this is the challenge when you're feeling abandoned and you're feeling neglected, to not sit back and make decisions to bring comfort to you in your life. This is the challenge. This is partially why we self-soothe. Because in our head, either I'm going to self-soothe because nobody else is going to do it for me. I'm not going to get comfort because nobody cares. Is that not what brothers and sisters be feeling in the middle of their battle? That nobody gives a damn? It's just take. I need, the camp needs, or the sister needs, or this brother needs, and it's never a consideration towards you. In some form or fashion, we all feel that pressure. We all feel that pull, and we all feel that feeling of being neglected and not considered.
And we can make a point right here too also. And part of this battle is, can you accept that dynamic? Because we're talking about keeping integrity. Before you get to that part, do you accept the dynamic that you're needed and it's not about you? That's a major situation in general. So there are a few that want to give.
And this is why, as you're going to keep reading it, it explains, it constantly reminds us that we're going to be pulled to these different levels and degrees. And in being pulled to these different levels and degrees, these are the feelings that you have. The feeling of abandonment. The feeling that there's no break anywhere. The feeling that when you're at work, when you're living in a day, you're just looking for a damn shadow to be upon it. A shadow, or what do you call it?
Some rest.
Another word for a shadow. Covering, or another word for covering.
Really just an escape.
Shade. That's the one I'm looking for. Just for some shade, man. Just for a break. And you're at home. What are you looking for? Just a break. And like Dawiyah was explaining, the answer is to realize that there's no break. Because that's what the Most High is trying to get you to. But in the middle of, before you accept that, it's complaints, it's anger, it's frustration, it's why this is unfair. It doesn't have to be this way. This is where the mind starts to go.
Why can't you consider this, bro?
Well, how come nobody else is considering me? Why am I the only person that has to consider for everybody?
Yep.
This is the battle that we face when the Most High is trying to teach us something about ourselves. Or he's trying to develop us and get us in a position to grow from the position that we once were in. Okay, read verse 12 again.
Psalms 31 and 12. I am forgotten as a dead man, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Because when you're on that island grinding, it seems like everybody's forgotten about you. Or it feels like that. Or your mind tells you that. Listen, the sisters, I know y'all, when y'all are battling, that's the first thing you think about your husband. He doesn't care. He's so concerned with the camp and the brothers. He doesn't care about me anymore. I'm suffering too. But the men go through the same concept in the camp. The reality is we're all suffering and we're all being pulled multiple directions, and that's what we all have to remember, so we don't destroy and fight and destroy the good that's right in front of us.
And get bitter.
And get bitter with the people who love you. We got to remind ourselves, hey, she's going through this and I am too. So why am I going to sit back here and attack and react to her venting? I want to vent too. And if you can catch on to that, you can at least stop the tearing down process and survive until you get another opportunity to counsel her and put things back in order. But the same thing she feels, you feel, we just express it differently. But this is what we all face when we're actually growing. So, then he says,
I am like a broken vessel.
nobody does nothing with a broken piece of glass. I'm throwing it away. There's no need for it. That's that feeling when we're being extended and we're being tested. Let those verses go. Go back to verse 7 now in Job. Job 7 and 7.
Come on. Job chapter 7, verse 7. Oh, remember that my life is wind. Mine eye shall no more see good.
He said, oh, remember that my life is wind. You don't know where wind's going and where it's came from and where it's going. It tells you that in John 3 and 8. So if you don't know where wind came from and you don't know where wind's going, there's no realistic idea of how long this pain's going to be. There's no idea of when the Most High is going to give me comfort in the foreseeable future. And that's what starts to bring about the spirit of despair. This is going to be forever. This pain is going to be forever. This suffering is going to be forever. This marriage is always going to be doomed. This zone is always going to be grind-ass work. There's never going to be a break. There's always going to be a 12-hour move. There's always going to be something that gets in the way of my peace. So read verse 7 again.
Come, verse 7. Oh, remember that my life is wind. Mine eye shall no more see good.
And when you start seeing the good in anything around you, now you're in despair territory. That's when you start getting into condemnation, self-sabotage, deep sadness, despondency. Nothing's good. I'm just going through the motions. Why try anyway?
What's the purpose? What's the point?
What's the point of all of this? And that's when we all get to a vulnerable position in our life. And this is what we have to fight to make sure we don't get into.
Because in that mode, there's extra time to think about your limitations. The limitations of your life. I'm limited in my ability. I won't get to see this shore. I won't get to get this experience. I won't get to get this meat satiated. There's anything that is special to me is short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
So what real joy do I have out of this life? There's very small spaces and times to really absorb the enjoyment of life because everything is need.
God.
That's a major part of this situation, this condition. And that's why people flip out.
God. Because people lose hope that there'll ever be a break. There'll ever be something that good on the horizon. Something that might bring some peace to me. Yes, I.
That was that Weaver shuttle. Those
Yes.
knees
Mm-hmm.
stacking, rapping on top of each other.
God. And the Weaver Shuttle was about the speed of life. The speed of your life. You're looking up, you're 30. That's the truth. I looked up, I was 18, bright-eyed, bushy tail, long hair, don't care, then you sit back, you look up, you're in your dirty 30s, like, damn, where did it go? Dirty 30s around 36, 37. That's when it's like, man, I'm almost at that big 4-0. Then you get to the big 4-0, and then things get even realer. No regrets, but all I'm trying to say is you look up, you grind, and everything's about the work and serving the Most High, and you can lose time easily. Part of it, the majority of this, is not to get to the point where we start to despair, and we learn, and we continue to learn how to find the good in life, even through the stressful, long stretches when you can't enjoy the wife and kids, or you can't enjoy the brotherhood, when it's the next goal. Because what you're going to start seeing in the truth is every phase in the truth, you're going from one campaign to the other. one challenge to the other challenge. And in the midst of living this life, you'll get little spaces for a breather. Little spaces to enjoy the little things in your life and your family's life and the people around you that you love and the brothers. You'll get spaces and really enjoy them. But for the most part, we have a job to get developed and to get strong to get ready for what?
The next battle.
This desert's coming out.
The sand is coming.
I'm saying the desert. This desert's coming out. The wilderness kind of. I ain't like saying wilderness because it makes you think of like it's birds and there's animals and there's animal, there's water, there's waters, the Niles, the Amazon, and there's tree cover. No, it's the desert. It's the damn desert. What's that?
It's the desert, the apocalypse, the one.
Well, I'm gonna say that. So listen, you're in too much despair, sir. We're supposed to have hope here. We're all hoping to get to the desert, but you got to understand the Most High is trying to teach us and give us everything required for our next challenge. Can you imagine if life was comfortable and easy? Do you think we'd be ready for what we're about to face? Not even a little bit. So that is how we have to learn to process things so we can be at peace with the daily things we lose and suffer and truly value those times when we can enjoy our family, enjoy our children, enjoy our wives, enjoy our circumstances. So,
can I make one point though? Sometimes we have
as long as it's positive,
it's positive. It might not be positive, but when people, the funny part about it is, people fight for the moment where they have opportunity to enjoy themselves, and then they do nothing but fight and argue. That's the funny part. Listen, if you get to the opportunity when Most High gives you that space, that gap to enjoy the blessings around you, don't waste it arguing and fighting and fussing and throwing dishes and
there should be no quarreling.
Listen, don't listen. Israel waits for free time to kung fu each other out. They do. You got some free time, all of a sudden, brothers want to argue. Like, why are you arguing at a gas station? Huh? Get your items, let's go. Yeah. Why are we arguing? You're supposed to enjoy the relationships around you when the Most High gives you the space. Because you're going to say, I never had time to enjoy anything.
Yeah,
no, you were given time. You just were selfish about
not appreciative
when the time was there. Because you would say, I don't have anything. I don't remember. I don't remember any good ones. The truth, Most High gave you gaps for good. Gave you good times.
Well, everything is good if you look at it right.
Yeah.
But He gives us those temporary reprieves.
Exactly.
Either we're learning lessons that we need to learn to get ready for the battle that's ahead of us, or He's giving us a good time with people that we love. That's what the process is. But let's continue on the topic as we'll never get to the other side. We're still in despair land right here. We haven't even gotten to the good side of it now. So let's read verse 7 again.
Come on, Job 7 verse 7. Oh, remember that my life is wind. My eye shall no more see good.
Because like when it says my life is wind, it's like it's here today, it's gone right afterwards. It escapes me. Life escapes me. Read on.
The eye of him that has seen me shall see me no more. The eyes are upon me, and I am not.
It goes back to that idea that I'm here now, and I'm gone soon. My life is like fleeing from me quickly. I'm running out of time. And when you're sitting back here in the mindset that you're running out of time, there's a great despair that comes from that. I don't have much time left. I'm getting older. The older I get, the less I'm going to be able to enjoy myself in life. I'm losing time, and versus learning to just embrace time as the Lord gives it. When you're going through stresses and pressure and demand, the idea is that you're losing more than you're gaining. And that panic and fear leads to anxiety, stress, extreme moves to satisfy the flesh, to give the mind the idea that it's going to be okay and you're self-soothing, when in reality, we have to let life go where it's going to go. And if it's moving, it's moving. If we feel like it's pausing, it's pausing. But let's continue.
Come on, verse 9. As a cloud is consumed and vanished away, so he that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more.
So this isn't When you're talking about the idea that, man, I'm going to be gone in a little bit and that's it, that's when you start thinking about Wisdom Solomon chapter 2. You know, Wisdom Solomon chapter 2 talks about, listen, man, you know, you can't have no fun in the grave. So you got to sit back and do what you got to do now, then enjoy what's in front of you. And then when you start, if you take that mindset to heart too much, you'll start defiling yourself. Listen, my time is wasting away. I've given all this to the Most High, and I'm still stressed out. I got to get something for me. I got to make a move that pleases me to bring me some happiness and some joy in this. That is that extreme mindset that happens when you're in the spirit of despair. When you start panicking about your life and how much time you got and have I enjoyed my life to the fullest. We have to make sure we weigh that properly in spiritual balance and not let that fear of losing out or missing out on life pull us away from staying spiritual and maintaining our integrity, which is really that original pure mindset.
Can I make that?
Yes.
And what people are missing out on, you're missing out on the comparative life of your friends.
Yeah. Goes into that too.
Oh, it goes in that too? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You give it some time because we're going into that too.
no need to rush.
We're going to try to. We're definitely not getting through this today, but we will try. Okay, we want to really focus on the pain right now, the pain and the despair and the extremes we go through when that despair hits us heavily. So read verse 10.
Come. Job chapter 7, verse 10. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him anymore.
When you start sitting, it's just talking about, read it again. He's giving you an explanation when you start stressing about loss and time and the loss of time. You're going to be forgotten. Nobody's going to remember you. You start thinking like that, you start telling yourself, I got to go get mine. I got to do things for me. I got to find joy in my life. Read on. Read that again, verse 10.
Come. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him anymore.
He's talking about the fact that you're going to be here today and gone tomorrow like the wind, like that cloud that gets consumed in the sky in the middle of the day. I'm here and I'm going to be forgotten about. And when I'm in that mindset of being here and forgotten about, then we start going on our next train of thought. What do I got to do to find more value in my life? What do I got to start prioritizing more in my life to find more happiness in my existence? Because my existence doesn't bring me happiness.
Yeah.
That is the extremes we go into. But when you start thinking like that, go to Ecclesiastes 41 and 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 41, verse 2, page 95 in the Apocrypha. Oh, death! Are you ready?
Yeah.
God, Ecclesiastes 41 and 2. Oh, death! Acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy, and unto him whose strength faileth, that is now in the last age, and is vexed with all things.
So he said death is acceptable to the individuals who don't have the strength to carry on age-wise, physical ability-wise, and also the ones who are vexed with all things. This is why we can't play with that spirit of vexation and aggravation. You can't live life with the mindset that everything around you pisses you off. We have to fight to learn not to let things that normally will cause you grief, not to let it cause you grief. Because that's what feeds and leads you closer to death.
So you're saying the things that are not of substance, they're not really real issues.
Nothing should lead you to be vexed and to want to go die. To lead you to that position. How about that? We have to learn to do everything we can in Christ to operate the right way and not let anything vex us. Because vexation leads to death. He's telling, listen, have you ever talked to like older people in life and they look young for their age and they're able to sustain themselves? You ask them, what's your secret to health, man? I've done it, and people have been saying, "Listen, I don't let anything piss me off."
They always say that.
Laugh more.
They,
Smile more.
that's the thing. I don't let anything vex me. They don't say those words "vex," but they're saying it. I don't let anything anger me. I don't let anything tear me down. Yes, I
was just gonna say, like, a lot of people. I hear say stress is the number one killer.
It's still a stress. Is I'm letting things vex me.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And he's telling you this in the scriptures. Read it again from the top.
God, verse 2. O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy, and unto him whose strength faileth, that is now in the last age, and is vexed with all things,
Mm-hmm.
and to him that despaireth.
Stop. He's telling you, people that are vexed, get vexed and get angry. He said death is calling for you. These are three different type of people. People of an older age who it's their time. People who operate in a constant state of being vexed and aggravated by everything surrounding them. And then third, the people that despair. That can't see the good in the things around them. Death is coming for you too. And this is what Job is going through, was literally causing him to die at an early age. Because the longer he would have played with despairing thoughts, sad thoughts, the idea that my situation is never going to get better, it's hopeless, it's sadness everywhere, that's what brings people to death.
So negative emotion shortens the life.
Done.
Can I pull one scripture right here?
That was you.
I was
like, why are you saying negative emotion like this? That's hilarious.
Ecclesiastes 30:5.
Kinda.
Or 30:24.
That's awesome.
This is a quick segue. This is a quick segue.
I'm there. 30 and 24?
30 and 5.
30 and 5.
Wait, let's go 24.
30 and 24,
Yeah.
right?
I
God,
said 5 and 4, but now.
no
24.
problem. Ecclesiastes 30 and 24, page 89. Envy and wrath shorten the life.
So I should let nothing get me to be vexed. What gets people vexed?
Envy and wrath.
Things they can't have, other people have.
Because that's where the vexation comes from.
It's called vexation.
The vexation comes from.
Why are you vexed?
I want something that I'm not getting.
You don't really deserve this, or you can't have this, or it's not meant for you.
Why does the person keep focusing on I'm going to die and I'm going to be forgotten about? But what is it that you want that's going to make you feel alive and meaningful?
I can't tell you. I don't want to tell you.
That's the point. There's something that you want that will make you feel like life is worth it. And life is amazing.
It's a
It is what it
beautiful
should
life.
be. What's going to make you say life is amazing and it is what it should be like?
Bless the Most High.
Listen, what is it? The point is, I should be able to sit back and live the life the Most High has me live and say life is amazing, it is what it should be. But Jay got to have money and cars and fame to feel that way.
Yeah.
And that is an aspect of the vexation.
God.
But keep going your point.
It says envy, right?
Envy and wrath
And what else?
shorten.
Stop. And what else?
And wrath.
And wrath. Wrath is that intense anger that somebody might offend you, but you're on level 10 with the anger. Because you were angry before they did that. You were angry anyway. You were already angry.
We witnessed that 2 weeks ago.
You're waiting for someone to make you angry. You can't wait for somebody to make you angry. So you can be angry. So you can act the damn fool.
Somebody would.
You don't say those words, but you're waiting for it for you to show people what you really is in your head.
The Nagar in you is waiting. It's in you. Because the actual event.
You gotta give him the French pronunciation.
The Nagar was waiting to explode. The event didn't call for this level of intensity.
Yep.
You create that because you're dealing with what? Envy and wrath. But that leads to what? Vexation. And vexation does what? Read.
Shorten the life.
I'm just confirming you're right. It is in the book.
Come. So with all that being said, let's go back to Ecclesiastes 41 and 2.
God, Ecclesiastes 41 and 2, page 95. O death, acceptable is thy sentence unto the needy, and unto him whose strength faileth, that is now in the last age, and is vexed with all things, and to him that despaireth, and hath lost
So he's
Patience.
telling you, when you lose patience and you start to despair and you start questioning your mortality, or you start questioning what I'm doing in my life, and is this worth it in my life? Is all this sacrificing and studying and Bible reading and committing to the Lord right? That vexation and that inner fight that you have kills you. This is why sometimes you got people in the truth that look like they're completely unhappy. And their body's breaking down and their countenance is falling. The truth is you're supposed to be in the truth and accept the condition of the truth. We look beaten up because we haven't accepted the conditions the Lord has put us in. If we accept the conditions the Most High puts us in, the Most High will extend our vitality. That's how you extend your life, with acceptance and eliminating that vexation in you. So we're even going into the despairing angle because we have to fight, because that is a symbol or a sign that death can be on the way. You can't live life with this much hatred and anger and negative outlook and expect the Lord to reward you with more time. It doesn't work that way. So when you start to have despairing thoughts, really be on top of it, because it's not healthy for you.
God, you said it perfect. I also on live shot, brought this up a while ago. I saw the interview online. There was a man or a woman who had 2 rabbits, right? Or multiple rabbits, and they fed them poison every day. But you remember that
Listen,
story?
sir?
I'm listening.
Okay, well,
Poison bugs, buddy, story, man. What's going on, man?
They were feeding poison to rabbits, right? And to see how long they would live, right? There was Group A control and Group B control.
Is it the affirmation one?
This is a true story. This is experiment. It's experiment.
Okay, I'm listening.
Right? And they're like, why do these rabbits live so long?
Still hitting meaning at
It's a little hidden.
ASAP's Fable Act.
No, this is true. So they figured out Group B, that rabbits live a long life. Other ones die off fast. What was the difference? And they asked the person they were, that was carrying it. They said, well, before the Group B's caretaker, the Group B, while he was feeding them poison, he was rubbing them, and he was, he was holding them and caring for them. And the rabbits metabolized the poison, and their body made the poison into good chemicals.
Yep.
But they were both eating the same poison. So both eating poison and died because they didn't have any type of positive interaction. Other ones got positive interaction while they were eating poison and metabolized the poison into something else positive, useful for the body.
Okay.
So they live longer. It tells you the power in positive interaction.
You know what? That is hope.
Yeah.
Hope in the Lord. That's the answer. Because we're going to go into that later, but that's a great concept to kind of use to neutralize that negativity that we're fueled with when we're dealing with grief.
Yeah.
When we're dealing with being overextended. Because Job 7, in a nutshell, is this explaining being overextended, having to deal with significant loss in our life, being inconvenienced.
No control whatsoever.
Have no control over how long the inconvenience or the difficulties will arise, and how your mind starts to drift and wander and go south when you're dealing with uncontrollable scenarios and stints of time where things won't go your way.
God says too, with the same point. And people think it's easier when you have some rank and you're on top and you have some authority, right? They think it's easy, even though it's not. They don't know the other levels behind it. But when you're in the position of a servant, you have no rank and no authority. It's even harder mentally. Because you're like, there's no benefit I'm getting from this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. I'm just a servant, wasting my life.
And on the other side, there's less room for error. Because the second I decide to get weak, the second we decide to exactly. The second you decide to get weak, the second you decide to complain and say what you might want to say, or say what you think in your head, that's when everything else below you starts crumbling.
Because you open the door for somebody else to say the same thing to you.
And that's the point.
Then everybody gets the binoculars out.
Yep.
And sees you.
Yep.
That's a fact.
I told you. This is why I'm not supposed to follow you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to did we finish up Ecclesiastes 41? Yes, we did. 41 and 2?
That was all of verse 2.
Okay, let that go and jump back to verse 11 now. and from verse 8 to 10 was explaining how difficult and that spirit of despair kept riding on Job. What was the first thing Job did in response to dealing with that despairing thoughts and the despairing issues he was going through? Let's read that. Let's get Job 7 and verse 11.
So you're saying that this is what he was going through.
Mm-hmm.
David went through it too.
Yep.
Wasting years with no benefit, or it's easy to go through something.
Well, it's not that he was wasting years. Not even when Job was wasting years, but he felt these are the thoughts that ran through his head, and he's expressing it on paper. And these thoughts are very similar to the thoughts of anybody who are fighting battles. Yeah. So the fact that he's voicing it out, and this ties right into the next verse, is extremely important, that he's even writing it out on paper, or he's voicing it out to his counselors, like Job was to his 3 counselors, and David was to his mighty men, and praying to the Lord about it. Let's read that.
Job chapter 7, verse 11. Therefore, I will not refrain my mouth.
Because this spirit of disdain or this spirit of despair is heavy on Job, he couldn't keep it in. He said, I'm not going to refrain my mouth. Because keeping all that in will what? Will kill you.
Yep.
So we're like, because I know holding this despair will kill me, I got to talk about it.
What do we call that? Because you said at the beginning of truth, when you first came in, there was a camp policy, maybe like a 10-year camp policy where you can't say anything.
No, there was never a camp policy that said,
thou
shalt not speak about your problems.
But that was the
but to your point, venting and talking about issues made you look like a lady. Yeah. And they kind of made you feel like you was a chump if you spoke about problems. So you will be very careful about what you said, because if you brought it out, you will lose a lot of respect from the men over you about it. But it was never said you cannot. But it was not fed and nurtured and instilled to speak the problems that's on your mind. Because I'm trying to speak nice when it says looking at you like a lady. There's another word that'll make you feel a lot more weak in the head, is what brothers would sit back here and make you feel. So yes, but it wasn't a thing that was said.
But I remember you said early days, men were not, it was not accepted for men to tell you their problems. It's not to tell you.
Well, I'm gonna say what wasn't accepted is to sit back and tell brothers over you what their problems were. That was not accepted. But to vent about what's going on with you it had to have been serious.
But it was a word though. You said zip your lips and drink a key, eat the key and drink them like that. It's a very bad.
That sounds like Austin Powers. Zip it, zip it,
zip it. Well, I'm saying this is a certain thing that men do, and there's a policy now to speak, but men act as if that we're not saying that same time period. So men go into drinking.
No, but men just don't want to say nothing and look bad. Listen, men don't want to tell you what's really in their heart.
Yeah, but it's acceptable now. Now men can talk and vent and get answers. Back in the day, you really couldn't do that because you would probably lose some rank behind that.
Or you won't get promoted.
Yeah, listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, you better not complain about your life because you will not get another rank.
Yeah.
Why does he need any more? You can't handle your life you already got. You don't need any more rank. Yeah. You're good. Right?
It just wasn't said, those words. That's all I'm saying. But you kind of knew in the underbelly if you spoke. Yeah, that's not looking good on you.
It's not looking good for resume. But what I'm saying is, men, when they can't talk, a lot of them go into drinking.
Yeah.
And that's unhealthy for your liver, for your body, and for your spirit in general.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have opportunity to open up and talk and to deal and interact. We shouldn't be going to the vices.
Yeah.
As if we don't have, we have spiritual solutions now. It's not the older days, the older times.
And what we don't do now, we'll talk. We won't keep talking about the problem. Because the reality is, you say it once, but it takes more than one counsel and talk to get something out of your soul. It sometimes takes years to talk about the same topic. It takes years to talk about the same thing that works on your spirit, that weighs you down, that aggravates you, that weakens you. And that thinking we're not conscious of how the Most High is working on us. But Job is telling us, listen, man, when he was feeling despair, read verse 11.
Job chapter 7, verse 11. Therefore, I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul.
If you don't complain and get it out, how will you ever get spiritual clarity on it? Which means you have to be humble enough and trust the person you're counseled with to divulge the sickness, to divulge the weakness. Now that can't be every person you come across within the scriptures, but out of the handful of counselors or one or two counselors you got to let them have it and let them know the worst part of you, so you can get it out, so you can get fuel to attack it, to get fuel to attack these thoughts and these reasonings that lead you to making a move on the despair.
Yes.
It's one thing to have despair. What do you do once you have despair? Then you make extreme, unbalanced, unspiritual decisions to soothe the despair. And this is what we have to fight to make sure that you stay on top of. It doesn't just stop at despair and you're dead. It's despair and coping mechanisms. Despair and coping mechanisms. Some people overeat. Some people overdrink. Some people over-tap into sex. Whatever it is, they're used to cope. A spiritual issue that needs a spiritual solution. So, let's continue. Give me Psalms 32, verse 2 through 4. No, I'm sorry, 3 through 4. Psalms 32, verse 3 through 4. Let me get there. Yeah. Read that.
Psalms chapter 32 and verse 3. When I kept silence.
When you keep silence, this is even David when he's fighting his battle and not wanting to talk about what's going on with him. Read on.
My bones wax old through my roaring all the day long.
He's telling you, holding on to negative slows you down physically.
Yes.
This is what David is saying. Holding on to negative affected his body. This is why men, when men get sick, they start using the restroom and blood comes out.
Yep.
That's the internal response to negativity that you're holding on to. It might not be you or you particularly, but people, that is a real thing.
It's common.
People get ulcers all the time. And those ulcers come from holding on to disparaging thoughts and ideas. Holding on to negativity. Holding on to negative feelings and emotions.
It has
that
a real
affects
effect.
your body. And that's a fact.
And also, scientifically speaking, not going there, but cortisol.
Yeah.
Cortisol is a real thing. And cortisol belly is another thing.
Yeah.
You end up getting that cortisol belly, that extra fat on the belly.
Cortisol face too.
Oh, and face, but it leads that a lot of it leads that to diabetes. Because you have an abundance of fat cells in certain areas that the organs weren't meant to have fat cells encapsulated around certain areas. It's not healthy for the internal organ. I'm not saying about the look and the aesthetic of it. It's not healthy for your organs to be under that kind of stress.
Mm-hmm.
But your body thinks it's in a battle. Your body thinks it's trying to survive.
So the problem is this. So how do you do it? How do you sit back here, deal with the obvious stress that's in front of you, and not let it affect your physical body? And this is what a lot of Israelites haven't learned to overcome. Because there is stress, and there is certain spaces of time that are vexing. But it can't be for your life. You have to learn to deal with the stress and deal with the pain and deal with the being extended and accept this as part of your service to the Lord. It's really about the acceptance that has to be learned. But until you learn to accept it through your own mind, you have to talk. This is why you guys, and even when you learn to accept it, you got to talk. And learn to communicate. To do good and to communicate, forget not. Because those sacrifices are good for the body and camaraderie and for your health. Read on.
Psalms chapter 32 and verse 4. For day and night, thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. Salah.
Listen, the moisture is what you need to sit back and accomplish things. When you're dehydrated, you have nothing in the tank. What can you do when you're dehydrated? All he is saying is, listen, man, all my energy, my spirit is dried up because my thoughts and my despair are eating me alive from the inside. I have nothing. Listen, it's hard enough, put it this way, to fight your battles every day. It's even harder to fight your battles and hold on to all this extra negative baggage that's rolling through your mind. It's everything to acknowledge and to confess what's going on with you. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. I acknowledge my sin unto thee, and mine iniquity have I not hid. I said, I will confess my transgressions unto the Most High, and thou forgavest the iniquity of my sin. Salah.
So David said he sat back and went one-on-one to the Most High and sent his prayers up. My answer is that's a great way to do it, but a lot of times you need somebody else to balance out your thoughts. David, listen, a lot of times we might want to sit back and send our prayers to the Most High, and we should always do that. I'm never going to say not to do that. But we need counselors to absorb the message that we got going on in our head because we're not as clear-minded as David. David can sit back here, have a clear beat on what's going on with his spirit, have a clear conscience of what the problem is, send his prayers up, know the Most High is listening, and get rolling from there.
He had a heart like the Most High.
But do we have that capacity to sit back and pray to the Most High, get it out of our spirit, and move on with our day the next day? More than likely, no. With us, it's going to be a combination of praying to the Most High, counseling with brothers, studying, meditating. It's the whole thing. Will help give us a better control of our emotional mood swings that water down and weaken our physicality and our mind towards serving the Most High. Yes, I.
And that's what David actually did. He ended up meditating even on the Most High's works too as well. So
God.
I like what you're saying because that's what we have to do all around, like how you said.
Con, and this is a constant thing. The thing is, we do it once or twice, and then we think we got it until we hit rock bottom again. And then all of a sudden we're negative again, and we can't control ourselves, and then things become a problem. Go to James 5 and 16 real quick.
James chapter 5 and verse 16.
So there is a solution to the despair or the perception.
At least the control. Yeah. At least you can control the despair to where it doesn't completely overrun you. Okay? Read on.
James chapter 5 verse 16. Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another.
Why is it saying that?
So this is why he's saying David said he prayed to the Most High directly. But Paul is like, listen, you got to sit back here and say it again.
Confess your faults one to another.
Getting the issues out in the open. Listen, as much as we hate it and we think brothers are judging us, you need people around you to know what you're weak at so they don't feed it to you. You need people around you that know what you're not strong in so they don't feed that spirit in you that wants to diminish yourself. That's another reason. To get it out to brothers to help you, to so have somebody to counsel you, to keep your head right, to see things the right way, because you really can't trust how you look at things. You need that other person that can listen to your issues and pray for you. Yeah. So it's about you praying for yourself and also other people praying for you to help you get through these battles.
You need a counterbalance because you're already extreme.
Kinda.
Listen, people don't say that when they're in this cycle of this shuttle spirit, this Weaver's being, where the days are flying by and it's just labor and nobody's happy and nobody's giving them what they need, they get extreme. They don't say anything.
Huh?
They get extreme. They're silent, but their mind's extreme.
Kinda.
You need to communicate and confess so that someone can give you, and so someone can be a brother. You need people to be brothers to you.
Okay.
We think brother means get a drink or hang out. I mean, brother means someone that counterbalances when you're weak. A brother's born for adversity. This is actually literally what a spiritual brother's for. To counterbalance you when you're at your wits' end spiritually.
Got it. So, let that go and go back to. We don't finish with James. I'm sorry.
Come. James 5:16. Confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another, that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much.
Y'all up?
Definition of confession.
Mm-hmm.
Definition of confession. Noah Webster's 1828. Definition number 3. The act of disclosing sins or faults to a priest. The disburdening of the conscience privately to a counselor.
So it's like you're not the only person holding this weight. And we're not talking about like a Catholic priest, because they'll hear some words, tell you to give some Our Fathers, and you're out of there. A real counselor is going to sit back here and work you through your issues and help work you through the thinking that breaks you down, that leads to the despairing conclusion all the time. For those of us who battle despairing thoughts, the equation always goes back to the despair. A lot of people are wired to sit back and see the worst in your experience. So if I'm wired to see the worst in my experience, I need counselors that's going to sit back here and walk me through where my mind starts to degenerate to keep me on point. Other people sit back, their mind always goes back, the solution is alcohol. The answer is sex. The answer is sleep. The answer is just push everybody away from me.
Or more money.
Or pursuing more money, because that brings me happiness. But you need people to sit back here and help reestablish where your mind is supposed to be to take you off track, or to put you back on track, I should say. Yes, sir.
All right, with you. Disburden. To ease the mind, to be relieved via, which it means through, communication.
There's a relief and a peace of mind by unburdening the thoughts and replacing it with spiritual thoughts. This is why just alone praying to the Most High isn't enough for everyone. You need somebody to vent off of so they can replace this cycle of negative thoughts and replace it with spiritual solutions. Yes, my Lord.
Do you have Ecclesiastes 22?
Not in this topic, no. I'm going to go glance it, bro. I'm rocking and rolling, man. We'll see, man. No, not that one. How about that one? But the confessing. Okay, read that. I'll give you that one. Read that. Read it. The second part of it, right?
The second part, yeah.
Okay. Read that.
Come.
The book that answer came from was the Webster's 1828.
Noah Webster's 1828.
Okay. Noah Webster's 1828. There is an app that you can get on your phone. It has a picture of it's Noah Webster's a green background. Webster's 1828 definition. That dictionary, a lot of the definitions from the scriptures, it was written with the intensive purpose to sit back and give understanding of the Bible. That's why we always go to that Webster 1828, because it was supposed to be there to give understanding of biblical words. Ecclesiastes 20:2.
Come, Ecclesiastes chapter 20 and verse 2 reads, "It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly, and he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt."
When you confess your fault and you allow people to cleanse your thinking, you have a better chance of not harming yourself. But how do we harm ourselves? Through sin. We harm ourselves from soothing in the flesh versus learning how to cope with the conditions the Most High's got us in. So confession is everything. And that confession helps us unburden those thoughts that lead to death and destruction, that despair. Okay? Let all that go. And let's go now back to Job chapter 7 and verse 12 through 14. Job 7 verse 12 through 14.
Job chapter 7, verse 12.
Now, as we're reading through this part, we're giving solutions through the chapter, but the chapter doesn't flow like that. Chapter 7, verse 12 through 14 is still dealing with a person who he might have communicated or confessed about his issues, but that despair hasn't left him. Okay? Job's despair hasn't left him, even though he hasn't refrained to talk about his problem. Read verse 12.
Job chapter 7, verse 12. Am I a sea or a well that thou settest a watch over me?
What Job is saying is, damn, everywhere I go, you're looking at me and you're checking me for every little thing I do. Isn't that how it feels sometimes? When you're doing the right thing, when you're trying, you're going through, you're catching hell, and it's like the most I got a microscope on you, and he's watching everything you do, and you know he's watching everything you do, because whenever you do something wrong, you get an immediate response. Boom! You get an immediate sting for messing up. Job is like, everywhere I go, the Most High is watching me. I look up, I make a little mistake, I got a report. I got a counsel. I got back, and I'm in a 3-hour counsel. Every 5 minutes, I'm getting it.
The discipline intensifies.
And
Disciplinary aspect.
what he's letting you know, that intensity, and he starts to watch you more when you have what thoughts? Those despairing negative thoughts. The more you feed and fuel those thoughts, he starts zooming in on you more. Then every little thing you do, there's a negative response to it. He's like, damn, he says, am I in the sea? He said, am I in the sea? Am I a whale? Am I in the sea? There's always watchers that look out in the water to see if there's any type of boats coming in or people coming in that might have nefarious intentions. He's like, damn, why are you watching me like a hawk?
You're being hunted.
You're being hunted, watched. Your life is being put under a microscope. This is how Job is feeling, but it's being fueled by that negative thinking he has. That
watch also means prison guard.
You're in cell block number whatever. You're 23-hour lockdown, bro. Listen, I go lot. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. Listen.
Sometimes they go and feel like you're in the truth.
Listen, but I'm going to tell you this, and this is what the Most High is telling you. When your outlook is negative, he's got constant watch over you. And everything you do, there's strict penalties that come behind it. And this is what but Job is experiencing in his process of trying to serve the Most High despite having difficult times in his life. Read on.
Am I a sea or a well that thou settest a watch over me?
I can't go nowhere without getting stung. Read on.
When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint.
Man, then I'll sit back and just get home and just take a break. It's going to ease my complaint. He's letting you know the negative's still in him. The complaints are still in him. And he's looking for a break and can't find it. Read on.
Then thou scarest me with dreams.
Then I can't get no rest. Then I start to think everybody's out to get me. People are out to hurt me. People are out to harm me. He's like, that type of thinking is what the Most High does to put you in check. Because your outlook is negative. When you start thinking that extreme and that outrageous and that off in the spirit, he's letting that's how the Most High starts to check you. By sending watches over you. To where every little thing you do, there is a penalty for it. And then you find no peace in any realm of your life.
In the cemetery?
Brother, whatever you want to call it, I hold this and go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7 through 10. While we're looking for that, finish Job 7 and 14 real quick.
Then thou scarest me with dreams
Mm-hmm.
and terrifiest me through visions.
You're not going to get any kind of peace even because your people look for sleep for peace too.
Ghana.
There's brothers and sisters in
God,
Christ
that's a real thing.
that use sleep as the solution,
Ghana.
and you're gonna sleep and still be tired.
God.
It's not gonna recharge you. Or you're gonna sleep is gonna be light. You're gonna sleep and immediately wake up. You're gonna sleep and have night terrors.
Yeah. No comfort. And what is he telling? He says this is fueling because you're not accepting the conditions of the circumstance.
I'm fighting
what I'm going through. Listen, Job sat back here and lost what he lost. But we understand scripturally the Most High says he won't give us anything we can't handle. Right? So ultimately, Job, what's happening is he hasn't accepted the conditions of the battle the Most High has got him through.
True.
So now that he hasn't accepted the conditions, his outlook has gone left, it's gone south. Now the Most High ramps up that attention he has on us. That light is shining even more on Job. And everywhere he tries to find a break, he doesn't give it to him. Then he starts to curse the sleeping. Curse any little comfort he got. Because the Most High is trying to get him to understand it's still love. Stop running from the infirmity. Stop running from the pain. Stop running from the discomfort. Now we go to 2 Corinthians 12 and 7.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7.
All the way to 10.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations.
So he says, Paul is like, for all the Most High, all the understanding that the Most High has given Paul, there's got to be something in the flesh that makes your life uncomfortable. There is a trade-off. For every step we make in Christ, think about this. Job was a righteous man that eschewed evil. He was great in his time. For all the perfect and great things he did in serving the Lord, he also had to sit back here and experience something to counterbalance the lessons and understanding he had. Same thing with Paul. For everything, every lesson he learned, for all the times he was a quick study, for every time he was a great student and grasped the concept and embraced the lessons the Lord provided for him, there had to be a counterbalance for the good he was bringing to the table. A lot of times we can't accept that dynamic in our life. For all the good we have in our life, all the understanding we have in our life, there is a carnal loss that goes hand in hand with those pursuits. Read verse 7 again.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
It was a thorn in the flesh. That was the consequence of his commitment in Christ. And there's no way of getting around that. Now there's rumors that Paul had issues with his sight. Okay? And you can only imagine all the physical repercussions that came from being beat 40 times, 3 separate occasions. What that does to your body. The physical effects of enduring shipwrecks. And all and being stoned to death and being revived. You don't think that was a consequence of that? All those things he had to go through because he had a greater understanding. So read on.
Right. It says, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure.
We can sit back here and be angry at the conditions of the life that the Lord put us through, the level of suffering and depravity that we might be experiencing in our life, but we very rarely accept that that is the cost of the lessons and the understanding that the Lord gave you. There is a cost for your understanding. There is a cost for learning the scriptures. There is a cost for understanding the Lord's will. And we don't look at it that way. And there is a physical cost to be paid that we all have to experience, whether it's sleep depravity. Hell, Job lost family, physical issues. Something has got to go for the level of understanding that the Lord has graced you with. Yes, Nadia.
Genuine question. So why do we think it's supposed to be the opposite?
Because we listen to our body and we tell ourselves it's no different than people that come in the truth and they're marveled to see Israelites with problems. I thought this was supposed to be a church. Well, shit. Welcome to church.
Yeah.
When you're amongst Israel, you're gonna see the worst of Israel.
Yeah.
You're gonna deal with sickness. People, I came to church, get taught. You're supposed to come to church, sit back and learn Christ, and accept and embrace the good and the bad amongst the people around you. We think you come in and it's just supposed to be good times. When in reality, the closer you get to the Most High, the Lord is a consuming what?
Fire.
The hotter, the more uncomfortable, the more you get attacked and touched in the spirit. Because you know the truth is, if we're learning at this accelerated rate, do you not think that there's always forces around you that are created to slow down your trajectory? That's what this is all about. That is the condition in all of life. Things are established to slow down your trajectory if you allow it to slow down your trajectory. Job was going on had a certain trajectory ahead of him, and the loss of his family and his finances and all the suffering he went through was supposed to hinder that trajectory. This is why Satan said, you know what? If you touch him, he'll curse you to your face. Because all he's done is seen success and good, and he's never had to feel loss. We'll eventually go into a class about Satan and what his job is in regards to our life. But there is a trade-off in the pursuit of the spirit. The closer you get in the spirit, the more the flesh you have to lose, and also there's a toll on your physical. There's going to be a toll on your physical. There's going to be a toll on your body. Then you come out of this thing unscathed. They didn't. They had to pay the ultimate price and die. John the Revelator got thrown in a pan of oil and survived. How did his body look? And the Romans said, man, this is an omen. If a guy survives this shit, you can't kill him. That's why he went to the island of Patmos, and that's when he got his revelations. So what was the cost of getting the revelations? You look at your pain, and they didn't have skin grafts back in those days, y'all. So he was a damn human elephant. I don't know what the hell to call him. His whole body was maimed. And that was the cost to get all those visions. So what do you think it is when you start to serve the Lord? There is a cost to get closer to Him. Then you come and do this work and be unscathed and just get all this wisdom. All I do is win no matter what. You're just going to win and get the spirit and be smart and understand and not know what suffering really is and what loss really is. And can you attain and gain while losing at the same time? Because that's what the Lord is doing. He's trying our heart. Are you going to do this when it's not conducive to you winning? This is why Israel loses men all the time. It's cool when Israel's gaining and getting things. There will be eventually a phase in every man's life and woman when you got to give and lose more than what you get. And are you still here when you're losing more than what you're getting? And that's how you know if a person is really about this. You don't know if Israel's really about this until they're losing way more than what they're gaining in the flesh. Yes, correct.
I remember there was a class that you mentioned, you said, the more you give, that's how you actually strengthen yourself.
Come on. And then once you give at a certain level, you are expected to maintain that. Because now He knows you know. But giving more means you're also what more? You're losing more. And we have to be acquainted and accept the fact that the majority of our life is losing in order to gain the greatest wisdom on earth. And can we accept that dynamic, that level of grief? And if you can accept it, then you won't walk around here vexed and in the spirit of despair, and you can prolong your life because you enjoy what you do. You enjoy loss in exchange for spiritual gain.
Everything costs something. We could use
everything in the world costs.
Just listen, we could use.
You want to be this dope nigga in the world? Guess what? There's a loss of that too.
Cost.
For all that money you're getting and all that fame and that fake fame you're getting, you're risking your life every day, or risking taking a seat for 20, 30 years for the rest of your life.
And for men that do endeavors in sports, their households feel those endeavors.
Yeah.
For people that are completely engrossed into their sport,
Yeah.
people have to suffer in order for them to maintain that sport. People that are engulfed in business, people that have high skill and high levels, the highest echelons of business, people have to be sacrifices, including their kids, their wives, and themselves.
Yeah.
Have to be the sacrifice. I'm talking about Satan on it. I'm talking about real sacrifice of relationships in order for them to maintain, to be at the precipice of their industry. It's that way in the world. It's that way in sports. It's that way in Christ. It's that way in the streets. Everything in life has a cost.
Good, because whatever you want to be great at, you have to give yourself to. I remember when I was in high school, and my high school coach, football coach, he told me, he said, every June, I kiss my kid and I kiss my wife goodbye, and I'll see them again in December. Because his thought process is, when this football season starts, whether it be off season, preseason, or playoffs, you're not seeing me. He'll be there from 5 in the morning till 12 o'clock at night, going over film. But that was a man who loved his craft and gave his whole life and his whole heart to his craft. People who give their whole heart to anything, you're going to devote most of your time to. We just do it in a spiritual realm.
Yeah. People get mad, I got to pay the cost. Jake says, pay the cost to
Be the boss. Yeah.
That's what Jake says.
That's every Jake rap song in the world.
Pay the cost to be you married to the game.
But you're married to the game. You're married to your grind. You're married to what you do. You're married to your craft. Every lot in life is that.
Yeah.
If you're a carnal, negative, fleshly dude, that's where it's at. If you're a spiritual, righteous, biblical guy with information, it's that. It depends on what level of depth you want to commit your spirit to. The problem is people want a lot of spiritual development, but you know what? Do you want the suffering that comes with it?
The scripture says that's what the scripture says. We die daily.
Yeah.
What's dying daily?
What you want.
Our goals, our aspiration, that time. All of a sudden, when you accept that you're giving up time, and you don't start thinking like, man, my life is like the wind is here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
What perspective do you choose? That I can live with the fact that 20 years of my life was committed to men who may or may not have stayed. Does it really matter?
No.
It only matters if you care about numbers and if what you did had an effect in life. What you did had an effect in a Christ's eyes. That's all that matters. But can you live with that? Do you get the gratification that you're looking for?
I guess for me, especially this week or this last month, I had an idea, not idea, but I guess a thought. I'm like, man, you get accustomed to a certain level of intensity on our work, our line of work. We work get up at 4:30, work from 5:30 to 5 o'clock.
It's really TBA.
Yeah, we get comfortable with 5 to 5.
Yeah.
5 to 5 is cool. You got a little time to go home, take a shower, come back, get something to eat, relax, then start class.
Then there's class at 7:30.
But see, you're okay with that. What starts messing with the psyche a little bit is when you start getting out at 6:30, 7:30. Now you're looking up, it's dark to dark. It's 5. It's 5 to 9.
Well, you forget there's actually a sun, huh?
You're like a vampire. You're a human vampire. You never see the sun.
Yeah, that's real. It's like, bro, I'm literally. It's already 10 o'clock at night. I'm gonna be here in 3 hours.
Yeah, I might as well camp out here. I might as well bring 2 shirts.
That's a real thought process.
And just go to Planet Fitness, take a shower, and just kick your ass
again. Yeah, because you're burning 40 minutes driving home. So yeah, we'll stay here.
Yeah.
Get a little more sleep. But the thought process, okay, we got comfortable with 12 hours. Can you be comfortable with 15? and be okay with
Is
it?
that okay?
Is that
That with you? You like?
I don't know.
God wants to know. Is that okay with you?
God wants to know. And that was a battle for us. I know this last month. But God wants to know if is 15 okay with you? Missing class or go to class at 8:30 and you still got to sit through 2 more hours of class? Is that okay with you?
And that sleep bear is a monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a real thing
That's the
too.
idea. And still being strong, doing it again the next day and the next day and the next day.
Like scriptures.
Yeah.
Scriptures.
Okay.
Then there's a spirit of, why am I doing this pop up? Listen, you should have been reading the Bible for that. You should have read the Bible like the whole year. You should. That's why you're supposed to read. When people have the why am I doing this, they don't have scriptures because maybe you don't know why you're doing this.
Maybe you're not studying enough. Maybe you remember what this is.
You should not know why you're doing it.
There are 750 reasons why you should know what the hell this is. At least, people.
There's a lot of reasons. A lot of good reasons.
There's a lot of reasons. That's the amount of class.
And I'm saying that because
That's 750?
yeah,
At least 730, 750, something like that.
I'm saying that because people use the kingdom and that gets old.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. The kingdom,
I'm gonna do it. The kingdom. You like,
listen, I learned that like in year 10. Like, gee, this kingdom thing, I cannot do this for the kingdom. I gotta do this every day for the brothers around me and for Christ every day. The kingdom, the city of gold.
The city of gold.
Right here.
It's coming out the sky.
I can't see it.
I almost gave him hope.
I gotta sit back here and fight every day for my brother. I can't see this.
The sky's not cracking yet.
Listen, 10 years ago, Russia was nowhere to be found. Listen, Russia ain't in power.
Yeah.
They're struggling. This ain't working, bro.
Like this. We don't have any oil.
Listen, Russia was nothing in the 90s. Listen, bro, we had a long way to go, bro. Anyway,
Russia's coming.
No,
the 90s.
No, they weren't.
They're falling apart.
They weren't.
USSR's collapsing.
That's what I'm saying. It was nothing. Anyway.
And so the point is, what do you use to push yourself?
Yep.
And if you don't find anything to push yourself, you're gonna go into these.
And learn to accept the exchange.
Yeah.
Because that's where it goes back into the topic. Paul is like, he has these infirmities. He understands why he has the infirmities. He understands that Satan is using these infirmities to buffet him.
Yeah.
To slow him down, to discourage him, to weaken him. Read verse 7 again. 2 Corinthians 12 and 7.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelation.
And he also understands that Satan's coming at him to just attack any pride that might be there. Because when you get humbled and the Most High touches your body, you remember you ain't nothing. You remember flesh and blood is nothing. And the Most High does that to humble you and to keep you listening. So all that grief we're experiencing, all that feeling of weakness and vulnerability is to remind you that you're just flesh. And you better rely on the Heavenly Father. So when the brothers are running trucks on hour 14, you know all you got is prayers.
Yeah.
I remember I used to be at the mall, and I know I didn't pray enough at the mall, but and I relied too much on my ability. I'd be sitting back and rolling, and all of a sudden there'd be a day where there ain't no money coming through. And I'm doing everything I'm doing.
I don't care what you do. I don't care how much customers you talk about.
All the Shazams and
you're doing
all that stuff. It didn't matter. All that shucking and jiving out. But then you sit back. I never forget one. It was a Saturday. I was busting my tail. I'm like, bro, I haven't made a goddamn dollar. It's 4 p.m.
What are you doing?
And I sat back. I said, what am I? I said, I did not drink blood yesterday. I did no sin. What is going on? Then I sat back here and I said, you got to pray. And I sat back and went into the restroom and prayed out. And all of a sudden, everything went back as normal.
Yep.
It was little reminders like that. Like, listen, bro, you're making it too much about you.
Kiss the ring.
But this is what happens when you get information and knowledge. That's why knowledge puffs up. But charity edifies. What you got to give, the condition you got to put yourself under, that humbles you. And just like that revelation hit me, the revelation hits all of us. When you're dead tired, you're dead broke, you have no control over your situation, You better start praying. Then you remind yourself, oh, this the Most High is in charge of this whole thing. I can't get through this without Him.
And it really is spiritual.
And this Bible really does mean what it says. And you have to live by faith. The just shall live by faith. So Paul is like, listen, man, this messenger of Satan is buffeting me. It's beating me down. But I understand that it's to keep me humble and tuned into Christ. Read on.
And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure.
I don't want to get to the point where I can't be told nothing no more. The Most High can't continue to mold me. So what the Lord does is allow Satan to sit back here and knock us down a few pegs so we can stay in prayer. We can stay communicating. We can stay confessing our faults. Because without that, we wouldn't be listening to nobody. Read on.
For this thing I besought the Most High thrice.
So what he's saying is, because of this ailment that the Most High allowed Satan to put on me, he said, I prayed to the Most High on 3 separate occasions to get away from this physical
malady.
You said malady?
Yeah.
This physical curse, this physical malady, this physical challenge that is impeding how comfortable my life is. Because it's still about comfort and the ease of my life versus these inconveniences that just make life miserable for me.
And then we say, well, I could do the work better if you remove this from me.
But this is what Paul is asking for. Can you take this away from me? Can you take this away from me? Can you take this away from me? 3 times he asked. Read on.
For this thing I besought the Most High thrice, that it might depart from me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee.
For the fact that I didn't sit back here and do away with you is enough for you. And this is the reality we have to accept. He'll keep us in an incapacitated position, but he'll give us enough strength to do our job.
Just enough.
And that's enough. Because that keeps you humble. Because the closer you get to him, the more talented, the more well-rounded you get to him, he's going to knock you down a few pegs to remind you it ain't about you. And also to still keep you
connected to suffering,
but also you'll still be capable of producing good works for my people. But you're going to be in an incapacitated state where you have to accept. But that incapacitated state keeps you humble, keeps you praying, keeps you connected to the body. And this is how the Most High deals with us, especially as we get higher up in our growth and development. Your regular Joe Schmo don't face this. It's the ones that are sitting back here and they want more. These prophets, these teachers. Master, you imagine sitting back here and staying in a shit well?
Yeah.
That was the level he needed to get to where he needed to get to. Because he had already passed the other levels. He was ready to die. He was ready to die when he went against these priests and these prophets. In Jerusalem, in the temple. He was ready to die then. So I said, okay, if he's ready to die, then can he live through suffering? Can he get put to the point of death and still maintain his heart to me? Because that's what he was. Remember the Ethiopian eunuch had to say, listen, King Zedekiah, this guy's about to die. He's an older man. He's sinking in the mire. His body ain't going to make it. The bread I'm giving him is not enough. So he had to sit back and suffer to the point of death. And then the Most High bring him out. So that was his battle. Others are death. But he's telling you, the further you go up in the levels of the ranks, you got to give something up for those lessons. You got to give something up for greater understanding. You ain't getting this for nothing. It comes with the cost. And when it comes with the cost, can you handle it and not operate in despair because you're going through it? So Paul wanted his ailment to leave And the Most High said, no, you're going to deal with this for the rest of your life. And just be appreciative that I'm still working with you. And the things you do for me are still received. And people can be touched by it. Because that's all we can sit back here and find comfort and solace in. Is that we're still being used by the Lord to accomplish His will. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable you are while you're doing His will. Just be happy that you're still being used to do His will. So sisters, still be happy that if you're there to counsel other sisters, or there to help with the sewing, or there to help in the work. Be happy that the Lord is using you. Because He don't have to use you. He can sit back here and push you out the way, and you're out here in these streets. Be appreciative, regardless of what ailments you're going through, that He's still working with you, and there's virtue in you, and that virtue can be shared amongst the body.
That you can produce good works.
Con.
That you're good for something.
Con. In Christ.
Yeah.
So give me verse 9 again.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. And He said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
And this is what he understood, because he stopped asking that it left him. That's our problem. You ask 2 and 3 times, and you keep praying and keep stressing about the fact that the Most High hasn't removed this stress from you. Or this void in your life. Whether it's a stress, it's a void, it's something that's a disappointment to you, and you keep asking for it and keep being angry for it, versus realizing it ain't meant to be. And you're better off saying, what I wanted and I'm craving isn't meant to be, and maybe the Most High don't want me to have it, and let me learn to accept that that's part of the trade-off for what I'm learning, and what I'm around, and what I've committed myself to. If you can learn that, you can get away from that spirit of despair, you can sustain your spiritual vitality, and you can still be of good use to the Lord. But too many of us sit back here and just never accept that maybe for what you're learning, you're not going to get the other side. You're going to lose something in the flesh for what you're attaining in the spirit. And can you accept the trade-off? If you can, you can do more. If you can't accept the trade-off, then the Most High over a period of time is going to just be done with you.
Is that the dispensation of the gospel?
Yeah, no, that's not dispensation.
Not necessarily.
Mm-mm.
But there is a disconnection from God.
God. Well, let's continue.
Says, most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities.
It's better that you sit back here and acknowledge the fact that what I'm not getting out the deal is what is the cost of what do they say? The cost of
doing business.
The cost of business, but the cost of admission.
Yeah.
It's the cost of admission of doing this work. It's losing this or losing that, or being deprived of this, or not getting these things that you might expect in your life, whether it's in the work or in your personal life. Can you accept that trade-off and understand that what I'm not getting, maybe I should embrace it as the infirmities I got to give up to get closer to Christ? Read on.
Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities.
It's better that I accept my losses. Read on.
That the power of Yahushua may rest upon me.
Let me lose in the flesh to maintain my power in Christ. Or let me push to get what I want in the flesh in exchange for the power I'm gaining in Christ. What's more valuable? What's worth my time?
Because it happens both ways. When you push for the flesh, then you lose
in the spirit. You push and you accept the spirit, you lose in the flesh. That's the trade-off. And can you accept the trade-off? Read on.
Verse 10. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecution, in distresses, for Yahushua's sake.
So this is the way that Paul explained. He learned over time to accept the losses and the blows and all the inconveniences that came from pushing Christ, knowing that those inconveniences is what made him potent. Everything that was an infirmity and a loss was his badge of honor to find happiness in and to sit back here and glory in.
So
He
we're-
gloried in all the loss because that was what gave him a greater guarantee that he was that much closer to the kingdom. Everything I suffered and lost and took the right way is confirmation that I'm that much closer to the kingdom.
So we're nothing without adversity.
We're nothing without the loss. The loss is how you know you're closer to, especially if you handle loss the proper way. You handle the adversity the proper way. You accept the trade-off the proper way. That's how you know you're getting closer to Christ, because you're embracing that consuming fire versus running from it. Yes, Naga.
It's like, but have you seen that movie Hacksaw Ridge?
I heard about it, never saw it. When that guy was running with men on his back or something like that.
He spent, I think, about 12 to 16 hours, hands swollen, cut. He was under enemy fire, literally lowering. He rescued 75 men in a span of 12 to 16 hours under enemy fire without using a weapon. Talking about his hands raw, lowering these men like a certain number of feet. But every single time he rescued a man, he said, "Lord, please give me one more. Lord, please help me find one more."
Mm-hmm.
He just kept going back, going back, tired, broken, hands numb, body shivering.
And it was embracing that exchange. And this is how we have to think. And we have to learn not to take the adversities in our life like it's doom and gloom, like the Most High is departing from us. You see how Job was explaining that his losses was as if the Most High was departing? Paul was like, those losses, let me know the Most High is there. Let me know Christ is there. Paul understood that the losses gave me more spiritual experience and a greater clarity on his will. But that's the mindset we have to learn to evolve into and not stay in this spirit of despair and sadness and hopelessness. Let all that go and go back to Job 7 and give me 15 now. With all that clarity, as Job is explaining his experience, he's not dealing with the spiritual solutions in real time like we're explaining, right? He just explained from Job 7 verse 12 through 14 that he felt the Most High just gave him no break. And the more negative his outlook it was, the more he had a microscope on him, making his life more difficult, watching him everywhere he went. Now let's get to 7 and 15 to see how extreme his response came from what was like the rock bottom for Job and his negative thoughts that he kept feeding based upon the magnitude of his loss. Now let's keep things in perspective. What Job lost was not what Paul lost in his journeys. Job lost his entire family and lost his whole life in a matter of a day. But in the midst of his sadness and despair and all the battles and the fights he was facing, it got even more extreme than how we're explaining it throughout the topic. So give me verse 15 and 16.
Job chapter 7, verse 15. So that my soul chooses strangling.
He said it got so low for him, and there was so much despair and sadness in his life that he considered killing himself. Hey, that's what strangling is, hanging himself. He said he was so rock bottom from the loss of his family and his body being touched, the loss of everything he had, he considered killing himself. Where he considered death, whatever the hell that takes you to. And the truth is, a lot of Israelites, whether they say it or not, a lot of men toy with that thought of death. They toy with that thought of removing themselves from life to make it easy. They don't got to stress anymore. They don't got to feel pain anymore. They don't have to endure anymore. They don't got to suffer anymore. So that's not as taboo of a statement as it might seem. A lot of Israelites, versus if they have to consider staying in the truth and suffering or going the world and definitely dying, what's the other option? Removing yourself out of the equation yourself. A lot of Israelites think that way.
and men entertain that don't confess. This is the absence of confession.
Yep.
Listen, we're going to explain how people get to here. Absence of confession, absence of study, absence of positive outlook, absence of finding spiritual solutions, and absence of the ability to see past their suffering. You have to have, in the truth, you have to have the ability to see past your suffering and see past what you're going through.
Yep.
That's why you gotta focus on other people.
Yep.
Because now it's past you, it's beyond you. But when men get in this, they get encapsulated in these kind of thoughts. Satan is winning because they can't see past themselves. When people get into the spirit of, I don't know how to say it online because I don't know if they're gonna hit it. It's for everything. Cytosine, right? Right.
What did you say?
Cytosine, guy. I'm saying it backwards.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. There's a whole bunch of.
You say chop suey here?
Listen, push the reset button, right? That's what I call it.
Okay.
Right?
I don't lie.
People that want to play that game.
Yeah.
Listen, people are so encapsulated with themselves. It's a deep selfish thinking.
Yeah.
It's actually a selfish act.
Yes, it is.
Because you're needed for other people's sustainment.
Yep.
And when your mind is so alien from the needs of others and is only focused on you, now Satan has the space for people to plan these thoughts. I'm trying to say, to get to the spirit of strangling or sinus or what Pastor said, we would call it.
I've never heard of sinus, but I just keep going on.
But that angle is deep selfishness on top of not finding solutions for long periods of time. Mm-hmm. And part of it is idolatry. Because Israel wants something so bad, and when you realize you really ain't gonna get it, then what's the purpose?
Then it's despair.
For what? What is this first? I'm not getting the object that I lied to myself and said God's gonna give me. God didn't say He was gonna give it to you. God said
that was your delusion. And we read in Romans chapter 1 that these delusions come from a person who was unthankful of the Lord anyway. But
perfect statement. So now that this vision and this picture in your mind is not going to be real, if I can't have this, then I'm going to destroy it all. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to cut my flesh.
A lot of people do that, and a lot of people operate like that. That's why Ecclesiastes 41 was talking about the spirit of death. Follows that vexed spirit. Follows that person who was unhappy and has lost patience and hasn't learned how to wait and has lost hope. Death comes to that person. So imagine Job, he keeps ruminating on how things are messed up, how he's lost his family, lost his situation. He sat back here, he's in poverty. All he's got is a person that's pulling out the negative out of him. His friends, all they do is tell him what he didn't do and how he was off in the spirit, because that's what his friends did. They kept being super bruised and sitting back here and showing a bunch of verses how he was off in the spirit. So all he's got is negative thoughts that he's feeding. And there was even a chapter in Job where he says, man, listen, you guys are lousy counselors, bro. Yeah. You guys are making this shit really
bad counselors.
I went over it a while ago, but he said, you guys are bad counselors. You're giving me bad angles. And you're not really helping my situation. He said that. You guys give me bad angles. And he's, I'm talking to you, I'm confessing, and you're not strengthening me. Yeah. And so he's sitting there got all this on his mind, and then you get rock bottom, and now ending it all is hovering over him. This is what we have to do to make sure we don't ever get to this spot.
Because that spirit of feeling alone is what, that intense isolation, I'm alone, that spirit is intensifying.
Yep. By the counsel, by the cutting, biting statement, the sarcastic energy, the isolation. This is why we can't sink to this level. Hold that and go to, now, did you read verse 16?
No, sir.
Yeah, read on.
Yeah. So that my soul chooses strangling and death rather than life.
Rather than my life.
Mm-hmm. I loathe it. I would not live always. Let me alone, for my days are vanity.
And this is that thinking. I choose isolation and sadness and darkness, and I loathe every experience I'm going through. That's how we get when we choose isolation. And we forget that it wasn't about you in the first place, because what he said was 1,000% right. People that play with that spirit operate with heavy selfishness. I'm going to prove that. Go to Philippians chapter 1, verse 21 to 25.
Yep.
What's that? Yeah, Philippians chapter 1, verse 21 to 25.
Philippians chapter 1, verse 21.
Read that.
God. For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain.
So Paul is like, man, all the suffering I'm going through, I'd rather sit back here and be in the kingdom with Christ. I'd rather not be here. He said to die is gain. Let me say that again. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. To live as Christ means suffering while I'm living, just like Christ had to suffer while he was living. He said the easier play would be for me to die and get out of this damn place. But operating and still existing is what Christ would want. Putting what I want to the back burner and making sure the people are taken care of. Give me that.
Feeding the children.
Feeding and teaching and not being about what I want is what Christ wants. But for me to die is gain. Let me get out of here. I'd rather not be here anymore. What is that telling you about Paul? His suffering was getting to the point where it was a lot for him. The only thing that kept him going was the fact that Christ wants him to be there for the body. I don't know if his pull to die was based upon his physical pain, the physical ailments, the pressure he was facing from like the Roman authorities, the fact that people wanted him dead. I can't give you an answer to that question. But what I do know is what kept him going, what kept him from not pursuing death, was that Christ wanted him to live and suffer and make it not about him but what his people needed.
And you look at Paul's life, and there's definitely a contrast.
Yeah.
At one moment, you're a Pharisee, you have status, you have wealth, you're on top, and you have your own schedule and routine. Then you look up, everybody hates you, you're being pursued.
You're damn near public enemy number one.
You're public number one, you're getting in baskets, being pulled out, people trying to kill you.
You're on house arrest in Rome, and they're waiting to see if they're going to kill you or not.
Come. Endless suits, people want to kill you, people stoning you, people hating you, people being vicious, and you're correct and you're right. The other side of a doubt. And you're living a life of controversy. After a while, when you compare the two lives, that's why brothers tell you not to think about your past too much.
Yeah.
Don't start meditating about what things were easier back 10 years ago. Things were easier 10 years. Can't give your mind that, but you gotta be current.
Yep.
Where am I at now? Focus your mind on where you're at. Be mentally present. Be cognizant where you're at in your battle now. If you live, you start worrying about when you were wearing silk robes and you had your slippers on, it's gonna take you out your battle.
Yep. Read verse 22.
Verse 22. But if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor.
Mm-hmm.
Yet what I shall choose, I want not.
He says, if I live in the flesh, meaning I live on earth and I stay in the flesh, he says, the fruit of my labor is the people I'm responsible for. But he says, yet what I shall choose, I want not. I'm going to choose staying in the flesh to help the people, but that's not what I want. I'd rather be out of here and just finish it off. It's in the other chapter. He says, I've ran a race. I finished my race. But I'm here to do it for you. I'm going to continue because y'all need me to until it's my time. Read on.
Says,
You gotta pass himself.
verse 23. For I am in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart.
Just like Job had a desire to depart. What is he letting you know? That sometimes in serving the Most High, you get to a certain level, and the flesh relies on you to a certain level. Mm-hmm. It's easier than somebody say, man, let me be done. I've done what I could. What is he letting you know? Then listen, these levels that we're all pursuing to get up to, all that glitter ain't gold, man. Sometimes we don't know what we're asking. Remember, the sons of Zebedee, James and John, said, we want to be right next to you on your right hand side. You're like, you don't even know what you're asking for, man. You really don't know what you're asking for. We just want all these get to these high levels of this and learn this and be on this level. Listen, man, it comes with a cost. It comes with a fleshly pull that leads some people to say, let me get out of here and be done with this. It's easier to die than suffer this weight every day. To carry this weight every day.
The weight of all the churches.
Yes.
The needs of the people.
And the hatred of the people around you.
Wars
the hatred of the people around you.
Destroy. It's unending hatred.
It's hatred and wars. Envy, jealousy, pride.
It's the worst. It's the worst of life.
So he's telling you, I'm not here to sit back and say not to choose to push to be greater in what you do, but there is a cost for every step you go forward in the work. And that strain becomes heavy. Yeah. So we got to be conscious of that strain. Paul was like, man, listen, I'd rather go home. But I'm going to continue because Christ wants me to.
Remember, the weight of the world was on Paul's shoulders.
And Christ has showed us.
He couldn't fail.
God. Well, let's continue.
Philippians 1:23. For I am in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better.
It's far better to be with Christ and finish my road here. Read on.
Nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful for you.
So it can't be about me. That's why when you said that side of soup, I'm trying to say the thing in my head is like selfish is greatly selfish. Because when you got that, you're not conscious of the fact that so many people need you and are depending on you to be the strength of the household, of the family, of the brothers around you. There is a need for you. And you can't make it about what's convenient for you. Read on.
And having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you all for your furtherance and joy of faith.
He said, I'm doing this so that you can find joy and faith.
For your joy.
For your joy. This is not about me at all. I'm done. But I'm going to sit back here, and if you're happy in Christ, then I'm pleased that you're happy. And that's what selflessness is all about. We have to transcend how we feel or we don't think we've gotten out the deal. So let that go and go back to verse 17 in Job 7 and 17.
Come on.
We're going to read from verse 17 to 18.
Come on. Job chapter 7 and verse 17 reads, what is man that thou shouldest magnify him?
He's like, man is nothing. And there's no reason for men that have the capabilities of rising and falling and being strong and wanting to strangle themselves. Why magnify flesh? Read on.
And that thou shouldest set thine heart upon him.
Then he's like, why, Father, are you sitting back here and setting your heart and your intentions and your focus on the fallibility of man? Read on.
And that thou shouldest visit him every morning.
Yeah, why is it so important for you to visit us every single day, riding our you-know-what about our conduct? It's like you're micromanaging everything that we're doing. Read on.
And try him every moment.
And this is what he said. He's like, damn. He's like, how important are we that you're sitting back here and scrutinizing and punishing and stinging every little thing we do? There's no peace. Everywhere I look, I'm getting stung. Everywhere I move, I'm getting punished for moving the wrong way. He's like, why are we this important? Why am I this important that everything is scrutinized at this level?
And the part of this is this what life's supposed to be? Endless critique.
Done.
Because a lot of people have an issue handling correction in general.
Yes, because there's nothing I can do that's good enough to please you.
What you don't understand is correction and critique is a lifestyle.
Done.
This is what you're going to get. Because if the scripture says iron sharpens iron, right?
Yep.
And the Bible says that Israel is his battle axe, then you're living a life of critique.
Yep. Done.
And if it's a man critiquing you, or the Spirit of the Heavenly Father critiquing you, and conditions, situations critiquing you, you ask for that. How do you make a diamond? Pressure. How do you polish a diamond? Conflict. You live a life of conflict and judgment.
So, you got that? Hold this. Jump to Ecclesiastes 23 and 19 real quick. So Job is always talking about this scrutiny and this level of extra attention that he puts on mankind. He's like, why the hell are you putting this much pressure on me? Read that, Ecclesiastes 23 and 19.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 19, page 84. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts.
What it lets you know is Job was really sensitive to understanding how the Spirit worked pre all these Bible breakdowns out. He's like, listen, man, the Most High is sitting back here and looking at everything I do, every reaction, my reaction to my frustration. He's looking at every negative move I make, and he's like, man, this is intense. Why are we so important? Why am I so important that I'm getting this level of scrutiny and this level of pressure and these level of responses based upon the little weak responses I'm bringing out? Why is it so hard? Read verse 19 in Job.
Con. Verse 19. How long wilt thou not depart from
How
me?
long is it going to be that you're going to be riding my you-know-what? And you're not going to give me a break. Read on.
Nor let me alone till I swallow down my spittle.
He says, you're not going to let me just sit back and get my bearings together? He said, you're riding me so hard, I don't even have a chance to collect myself. That's what I mean by swallow down my spit. You're not giving me a chance to gather myself. This was his frustration that the Most High wasn't giving him time to process and spiritually process.
And the reason why it's important to know that, because when you read about the scripture, when he said, I'm going to take away the desire of thy heart with a stroke, that prophet, Rib died, and he had to teach the next day.
Because and that's the point. Because Job's mindset was so negative, was why Christ amped up, or the Most High amped up the pressure and the scrutiny and the attention. I can't say that enough times. To where Job was like, man, can I sit back here and just swallow my spit before you sit back here and hit me? He's getting like this to Job because Job didn't accept the losses that he went through. When our outlook is negative, he keeps us in a bad spot for a long stretch. He does not bless us. For those of us who have ever held on to negative for a period of time, I don't know if you've ever been there, you feel like Linus in Peanuts Eye. You walk around with a cloud, a rainy storm cloud everywhere you go. It's sunny everywhere else. If you don't have maintain a positive outlook, everywhere you go is sorrowful.
His fingers on you.
It's rainy. I'm serious. That's a real thing.
And your work is always harder. You have 4 zones. Everybody's getting blessed.
But that zone.
Except for this guy.
That's Linus's zone.
What's wrong with this guy?
It's rain over the car. It's raining over the car.
Wherever this guy goes, there's stinging and there's problems. People, I want a refund. I don't want this anymore.
Yes.
Credit card don't go through.
This is true.
I'm ready. Finally got to sell. Credit card is like,
denied.
I don't know why it's not going through. There's money in there.
And
I'll be back next week. Oh, come on, you're like my salvation, bro. You saved me. They just walks out the mall like this. Bye. I'll be back this Friday.
Or they'll tell you, I'm going to go to the ATM machine real quick.
And you trust them. Because you like, thank you, Lord, for coming through. And they go to the ATM and they look like this. And they keep going at. And then you go.
But they'll slow down to the ATM and they'll look at you. Then they out of there. We're joking, we're laughing. These are true stories. When your outlook is negative, these crazy, bizarre world scenarios happen a lot.
Yeah, and I know one guy, he had a negative outlook, guy, and then I hope it's almost like that story, playing his ball. I hope all the bad things happen to you and only
and you. Only you.
That is a real thing. This dude was walking with chocolate ice cream, and it was like
you said a chocolate ice cream.
It was a chocolate ice cream, right? The brother had a brand new shirt on, looking fresh and fly, polo shirt looking clean. But he was negative as hell. He was negative. And then this guy with the chocolate, he just loved it. This is the best ice cream ever. He just starts tripping. But I know it's the Spirit of the Most High because he's tripping like 30 feet away. It's a 30-foot trip. Dude, he keeps falling. And he just keeps falling out. It's like a 5-minute fall out. To the point where it just gets to the brother and it spills ice cream on the brother's brand new shirt out. It's
No!
He kept tripping. He tripped for like 5 minutes. That's how I know it was the Spirit of the Lord. It wasn't like you just happened to walk by your car, but he was over there, right? Like by Foot Locker.
It was like this keeping it popping like this.
And then you think he's not drop the ground, and he just turns the other direction towards the brother with the flash. And
Listen, these are true stories, dog. I promise we're not making this stuff up.
And Bubba was so offended that he was so angry, but he had the same face after the incident that he had before. You were angry before that dude came up. Someone's like, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Since you're gonna cry, I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
I'm not gonna give you a chance to swallow your spit.
Yes.
I'm not gonna give you a chance to be angry and collect yourself in your anger. No, You're gonna be angry. You're gonna be upset. You're gonna operate in the spirit of despair. You're gonna have more disparaging things happening in your life because you got that angry spirit on you anyway.
And you got called customers with this fly shirt on.
I don't give a shit. You go to the bathroom. You're gonna clean it. You're gonna try to put water on it. You're gonna put it under the heater. You're gonna still have a brown, nasty mark that's not coming out, bro. And it's gonna be. What's gonna happen is you think as you put water on it, you take it out. When the water dries, it's just brown. It's still brown.
What's up with this guy? You got called customers like, hey,
don't look at what I got.
They're like seeing spots all over your shirt. Like, what's up with you, bro? You gotta buy a new shirt. And you're mad.
You ain't got no money. Your money's gone. And you don't make no sale. You can't afford the deduction now. You stuck. You ain't got no deduction money.
You're broke right now, bro. You can't afford this. You can't afford those
you better sell. You better win some customers.
Yeah.
You better sell the half off.
Yeah. You're in the mall, but you can't buy no clothes.
Oh my God! And then you got like around 500 pushes waiting for you to get home. True story.
And counsel.
Oh yeah, that's always coming.
Well, that's always coming. But we're just giving a little snippet of how negative outlook snowballs. And this is what Job is saying. That negative outlook that you're holding on to most don't give you a chance to breathe. Because he's trying to let you know to let go of that negative thinking.
Get past this.
Get past it and learn to appreciate the Most High again. But that snowballing negative just keeps building and building, and you don't get a chance to breathe unless you learn to accept that this is the wrong way to look at things and start changing your thinking immediately.
Because brothers partially are brats.
Partially.
But I'm just saying, because we're nowhere near what Job's going through. Part was just mad because something happened that we have some inconveniences. Brothers get to the spirit of Job when they're inconvenienced. Mm-hmm. They're not losing no. Job lost it all.
Yeah.
Brothers have inconveniences and act like Job.
Yeah.
I get why Job did what he did.
This is why when the Most High, I think Job 8:38 said, "Man, just stand up and be a man."
Yes.
Because that's what I require of thee.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the lesson was stop complaining.
Yeah.
Stop being sorrowful and woe is me about what you lost. Stand up and reconnect back to me. The issues became worse because he kept wallowing in sorrow. He kept fueling the despair. And he wouldn't ease up on him until Job learned to man up and accept the condition and move forward and learn how to please him. It's no different than us. Read that Job 38:3.
Job 38:1-3. Because it really shows you how the Most High deals.
Come.
Most High does not like when Israel emanates weakness for a long period of time.
Yeah.
38:1.
38:1
through 3.
Come. Job chapter 38 and verse 1 reads, "Then the Lord answered Job."
This is after all the complaining and all the woe is me and all the idea of entertaining the idea of strangling. and getting bad counsels from your boys. Boy, you think your boys gonna help you out, my boy, man?
Hey,
Like,
it's
my boys.
all your fault, brother.
Yeah,
You just
like,
what you do wrong. You know you messed up. Yeah.
Read.
Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said,
He answered Job. That means the whirlwind pulled up on Job. The Most High pulled up on him.
Yeah.
And he come in the spirit of, hey, I'm going to comfort you, my son.
Yeah.
Let's find out how the Most High came out. Read.
verse 2, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without
That's what the
knowledge?
Most High said.
Yep.
Who is this that darkens counsel by words? You're saying words without knowledge. You're talking about an itch.
You're talking a lot of emotion. It's out of emotion
Yes.
and effeminacy.
Yes.
But you're not talking about concept of the spirit. Well, keep going.
Yeah, it's nothing spirits come out of your mouth.
None.
All this is emotion come out of your mouth.
Yep.
Read.
Verse 3, Gird up now thy loins like a
He
man.
pulled up on him after he went through all that and said, listen, you better gird your loins like a man.
Yep.
Deal with this like a man.
Got it.
That's a strong
Because that
statement.
means stop saying why me.
Yes.
Because that's how you operate like a man. Listen, stop saying why me.
Yes. Listen, the chair didn't pull out and show him the future. The chair pulled up on him and said, be a man.
Yep. Yeah.
Look at the Most High's priority.
And how he thinks.
Come on.
Continue.
For I will demand of
He
thee.
said, am I making your life easier?
Nope.
He said, I'm demanding it.
He's trying to force him to shake out of his head trip.
Yeah.
This is how the Most High. So what he's letting us know, all the fire and the loss and the challenges, they are created to shake us up and shake us out of our head trip. As Job is like saying in chapter 7, why does you keep applying pressure on me? Why do you give me further scrutiny? Why are you sitting back here and making my conditions harder as I'm suffering and I haven't gotten over what I've lost? Like, I don't want you to focus on that. I need you to focus on me and stop wallowing into the fact that you lost. Just like Dahlia said in Ezekiel, he took his wife and he didn't want to sit back here and get him to focus on the mourning. Focus on the need of the people. And that's the lesson that we have to continue to remind ourselves if we are going to stay potent. Now, we haven't had time to get into the second aspect of this class. What we've gotten so far is just painting out the suffering aspect. Maybe by next Monday we'll go into how to maintain the integrity while we're feeling the way Job is feeling.
That's important.
Because while Job is feeling the way he's feeling, he might have been complaining, but he maintained his integrity. A lot of us can't say the same thing. When we're suffering, when we're going through pain, we don't keep our integrity. We're breaking laws. We sit back here and we backslide. We sit back here and pursue the flesh, pursue comfort in the flesh. Next week, we'll go into what it takes to not backslide and to not get weak and to not succumb in the flesh when we feel like Job felt. Y'all understand?
God.
We're going to that next Monday. Israel, Tawada for tuning in. See y'all next week. And see Sham Shwan on Wednesday. Shalom.